internet. I'll be there for you. The captain said I have to. My name is Matthew Kroll.
And Matt, be careful not to choke on your ambitions. I'm Shahir Dowd.
I always never choke on those. Anyway, this is the only podcast about movies, specifically the film Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Oh, God, here we go.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. But Shahir, luckily you don't have to listen to me yammer by myself the entire time.
I'm feeling thrilled about that part.
There we go.
Let me tell you. I'm really happy about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you've seen and heard this man all over television and the interwebs. It is my pleasure to welcome one of the funniest stand-ups in the game, one half of the Brilliant Idiots podcast, and a member of the OG Guy Code fam.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Andrew Schultz.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hey, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, of course. A lot of energy here.
Yeah, we
step it up.
What's the only podcast about movies?
Yeah. We're the only ones. So we really have to make ourselves
we were
known.
having regular decibel conversation literally 30 seconds ago. Matt pressed play and hello and welcome everybody to Ringling and Barnum Vale, whatever the circus is.
It's like Good Morning Vietnam and every fucking Friday.
0 to 100.
I get excited about movies.
Good. Get excited. Don't let me make you feel uncomfortable.
This one in particular,
Yes.
I wanted to have you on because you and I, during the Guy Code days,
Of course.
we would talk in the green room about all sorts of stuff. I actually turned you on to some comics back in the day.
I still have Civil War. You gave me Civil
Oh
War.
shit! Okay, I got to get that back.
Yeah. I got into it. I was disappointed by the movie. Actually,
By Civil War movie?
Shit, really?
Oh no, I really liked it. Real quick, what didn't you like for Shahir's sake? Because I always talk up Marvel.
What didn't I like about it? I don't know. I just remember thinking it was Oh, no, I remember you like getting into the whole story about how they locked one of the guys up,
Right.
And then they put him, and then I think Captain America dies or something like that.
In
I was
the
like,
comics, right?
I was like waiting for all this good shit to happen, and then it seemed like they just had a fight in like a parking lot, like
Yeah, and basically they were just setting up the next movie.
yeah. So
That's
it's
all-
like, what happened? It just made me pay $20 for the setup.
It was all the emotion behind it, boys. That's what I get by. Because I was thinking the only reason I really like Civil War as much as I do the film, the comic I like the
You
story
shouldn't have
better.
started this, by the way.
Yeah,
This is going to go.
But you did it, and now we're here. Is because it's actually the emotional ties with the characters that are on the line, as opposed to like Thanos or whoever's going to destroy the fucking universe.
Yeah.
I really don't care about that shit anymore.
Thanos.
Like,
That's funny. I called Thanos Wendy Williams.
Oh, really?
well, let's hope that Wendy doesn't get the Infinity Gauntlet. That would be good.
That would be a little scary.
But we're not talking about Marvel much today.
We're talking about Rogue One on the only podcast about
Yes.
movies. If you're interested in getting in touch with us about a certain movie, you can reach us at onlymoviepodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up on our website at onlymoviepodcast.com or on our Facebook and Twitter page at onlymoviepod. We've been getting a lot of fan requests in. We're really happy to get those in. We got a really nice email from our listener request Kartik last week.
For Boyhood.
Yeah, for Boyhood. That was an interesting review, that one.
Did you ever see the movie Boyhood?
No, it's like they filmed it over
Over
a
12
long time.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it,
No,
Not
don't.
necessary.
Don't see it.
No, go,
Is it
go
worth
see
it?
it. Yeah.
No.
But I don't think it's
If you're
a good
getting a lot of
movie.
mixed messages, just don't see it.
I don't think it's a good.
I have no
I don't think it's a
interest.
good. I don't think it's a
But
good movie, but it's an
yeah.
interesting experiment.
Yeah. But it's like, you don't need to.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
thank
It
you.
just seems like so long.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Well,
So far, the score from Schultz that he's giving us, it's 1-1. It's
Well,
one on
actually,
the...
Schultz, here's the thing.
here's my thing with that kind of stuff. It's like, I don't know how. It just seems extra. It seems like you're doing it just to do it.
Oh my
Yes.
God. Okay, you're on his. Yeah. Okay.
I just say it's just like you know how sometimes they do those movies where like they only film it in natural light, like in
Yeah.
Denmark.
Yep.
That's like a thing. And it's like, all right, that's cool.
like a
Or-
Terrence Malick movie.
I don't know who that is, but it's just like yeah, that's good. But then we invented lights.
Well, hey,
So it's
this
like
is
we don't
thing.
need to do that
future is
anymore.
here.
Yeah. It's like
For our listeners at home,
You know?
Schultz walked into the studio wearing a Boys in the Hood cap, and so I'm taking by that because
this is my movie hat.
Yeah, I was
You know
gonna
what I mean?
say.
Boys in the Hood is like one of my formative movies.
Okay,
so
sure.
I want to find out because we've done so many Star Wars movies on this podcast.
Some would
Now,
say all of them.
Too many, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like, where are you on the
On
movies?
Star Wars?
Well, no, on the movie spectrum. We'll get to Star Wars in a second. But
Okay.
what do you like? What are you into?
What about a movie?
Yeah, any kind of like. What's your favorite movie this year, or what's your favorite movie in general? What's something that really gets
My
you
favorite-
going?
I guess the movie that was more of my what is it? What do you call it?
Formative experience.
Experience was Swingers. I
I love Swingers.
Yeah.
Experience. I
Yeah.
thought that was a great movie. That was the first time I saw men like
Money.
embrace being men.
Yeah, yeah,
You
and
know,
and I think the writing in that film is amazing. The scene where the hang up where he's calling
Brilliant.
12 times is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's one of the most
And
amazing.
just talking to the girl, leaving, ripping the number up.
Yeah,
Like it was so great to see like unapologetic males on TV.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't see that at all anymore. It's like,
yeah.
it's you just don't see it in film anymore.
It's funny to think where
It's
all
just-
those guys went to from that movie as well.
it's
Yeah.
incredible. Apatow's what is it? He directed Iron Man or some shit.
Jean
like that, right?
Favreau.
Favreau, yeah.
Oh yeah. Favreau, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Some white guys, so chubby white guys. So
Yeah.
but it was just a great experience, and it was something when I was young to like make me feel confident. I was like, oh, you can go up and talk to girls and be charming, and
Right.
that's not like offensive, and they actually like it. It's like as a guy, when you grow up, everything is like harassment that you do. At least in America, that's what we're told. You know, what I
Right,
mean?
right. I'm
So,
from New Zealand, so we're a
don't
little
know.
bit less sexually harassing over there.
You are.
a little less.
Or is it just perceived that way?
Yeah.
It might be perceived.
We
that
don't
way.
grab them by the pussy as much.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
much? Okay.
Bunch of pussies, if you ask me. No. Yeah, it's so it was just nice to see guys like having game and like seeing girls actually respond to it. You know?
Yeah.
Usually in movies, it's like the guy tries to kick game and the girl goes, "Get out of here, creep."
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but it was nice to actually see. Oh, cool! These guys were in control of their destiny. It was empowering to see as a guy.
And it's got one of the
Gotcha.
best endings, like that end scene at the
Oh, it's
diner where he's
brilliant.
like, "Oh, I got
dude,
this
she's
baby
feeling it.
thing."
She's
Yeah,
into me.
it's-
She's doing baby
she's
face.
doing baby face.
It's
Yeah,
great.
it's great.
I loved it. Yeah,
all right. So, okay, so Swingers is your jam.
I love swingers. I mean,
Boys
I
in
love,
the Hood is your jam.
That was okay. I mean, someone
Really?
just gave me the hat. Yeah, I like the hat. It was this or Cheers.
You
I
like
had
the
a Cheers hat.
paraphernalia more than the movie.
Yeah. I liked it. It was cool. The movie was good. I love City of God. I was a big fan of that.
yeah.
I love Nolan. Anything Nolan,
Yeah.
Christopher or Jonathan, I'm into.
Oh, so Westworld, and then you're probably
love
excited.
Westworld. Really into Westworld.
Yeah. Did you
And then-
finish it?
Yeah, I did finish it.
Just in case
no-
that comes.
no
Oh, you
spoilers.
haven't, you son of a bitch.
I've only
Oh,
watched
yeah.
2 episodes.
You've only watched 2 episodes.
I can't get into it. Like I like it.
Don't
I
watch
think
it.
it's good.
Yeah.
But I'm like every time I watch it, I'm like, I'll keep doing this one day.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not like I'm like, oh, I gotta keep going right now.
There's
Yeah.
something about it that I think is it's the most binge-worthy show that HBO I think has put out in a while. Like I'm looking forward to watching it again in a short sitting because I feel like I forgot a bunch of shit
Oh,
from
it's
week to week.
complicated.
Yeah.
My brain just wasn't wrapping around it. But
Yeah, my thing with film or TV is especially when it comes to scripted is like the world. I just
Yeah.
like hanging out in the world. If the world is interesting, I want to hang out there.
Okay.
So it's less about like I don't even want to say plot. I appreciate plot and I appreciate story.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's more about being a voyeur for me.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like I love The Wire more than Sopranos because like
That's a good. I'm
Yeah.
on your side on that.
Sopranos
sense.
was phenomenal, but it's like I see those guys.
Yeah.
I see that a lot. That the Italian guys in the neighborhood and that kind of stuff. That wasn't foreign to me.
yeah.
Right.
Right. So, but what I saw on The Wire was foreign. Right?
Right.
And then Wire went season 2 to like some like Greek people and like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
docks.
Yeah,
and
the
I was
docks.
like, it's too close. I get it. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't interesting as much.
Yeah.
Like when it went back to like the hood shit,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is fascinating. I get to be
Right.
a voyeur again. So any show that I can kind of tap into that,
And it's not
Love.
your world.
it's not my world. Like I love post-apocalyptic shit. Like I love
Mad Max.
cool. Mad Max is
Yep.
cool, yeah. But anything where it's like, okay, there's no more rules. How are we as humans? Like I
Right.
love prison.
Yeah.
Like even
Oh,
those
gotcha.
reality shows in prison, because it's
Yeah.
like, okay, what happens when you take away the rules? What are our real rules?
right. Right.
What do we really care about? You
There's
know,
a
like
movie,
Resources.
Blindness
Yeah.
that came out a few years ago. I think you'd be really into.
Blindness?
I heard about this.
Yeah,
film.
yeah, and Diego Luna wasn't in it, but Gael Gun, whatever, if I forget his name from YouTube, Mama Tambien. But it's a movie about like a society that goes entirely blind, and what are the rules when nobody can see, and it kind of breaks down.
Oh, I did see that shit. I liked that. And then it gets real dark near the
It
end,
gets
right?
very, very
Love
dark.
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's because when no one can see, I mean, fuck. what?
One-eyed man is
Yeah.
king, or whatever
Jesus.
it is.
Yeah. Is there a guy with some vision, or
There's,
Yeah.
I think it's what's her
a
name?
guy smart enough to lie?
The actress who's redhead, who always nominated for an Oscar.
Children
right?
of Men.
Oh, I know who it is. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, she was in my house actually once.
Really? What? Wait.
yeah,
Are we
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the same person?
No, I know.
Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore.
Moore.
Yeah,
I didn't think of it. That was the internet,
She was
but I
in
just
your
got there
house?
She was
first.
in my apartment once. They did a movie downstairs. They rented out our apartment for like the people to get makeup done and that kind of stuff
Oh,
like that
nice.
when I was a kid. And I got to meet her when I was in my like baseball uniform as a kid. my little league uniform. Yeah. It
You
was
might
pretty
have
hot.
been. You might have been in Blindless without knowing about
See,
it.
there it is. Yeah.
But so Star Wars,
Yeah.
and you know, like what's your jam with Star Wars? Like, are you one of these guys that grew up watching Star Wars?
Not at all. No
All right.
attachment to Star Wars. My folks were pretty old. My dad's like 74 now. My mom's 69. I think they were like a little bit too old to be into the Star Wars
Gotcha.
thing.
Yeah.
And I'm 33, so maybe I was a little bit too young.
Right.
So I was like right in that middle. Like if my parents were a little younger, then I would have gotten like grandfathered into it.
Yep.
Right.
Right. So I mean,
So
I
no one
watched,
took you to Star Wars. When
no
you were
one
a kid?
took me. I went as a kid.
Yeah.
Because it was like, everybody was going.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've seen all the movies, and I just rewatched them actually.
Yeah.
Before the latest, not this one came out, but the
episode 7. Yeah.
episode 7 came out. So I just rewatched them, and I enjoyed the experience. It was really nice. I'm still, I don't understand why it means so much to people.
It came at a really interesting time, I think. Like and it's amazing even we watching this now, like how much it still resonates weirdly,
There
even
was some
with me.
weird, subtle shit in this one. I thought like there was some like, is the Empire America, and are we in the Middle East, and all the people with the headdresses and stuff like that.
It's really hard not to draw some conclusions.
Drone strikes in the name, and then you have the rebels jumping out of here, throwing grenades.
And then there's
under
multiple
the tanks.
aspects of the rebels, and it's not just the
It's
clear
not just
cut.
one rebel group.
Yeah,
There's other
yeah.
rebel groups that are fighting. It's like, is this Syria or is this Dundu or whatever the fuck it is?
This feels
Why
like-
does every planet sound like an Indian dish? That's another thing I don't understand
Listen,
about this
that's
show.
what keeps me going to the movies. I'm just saying, like it's the only.
Dundu, Hashdar, Sardif. It's like, what is this? Is
the
this
only
a
reason my
family?
parents took me to
Is
this
there a
fucking
wedding?
movie.
What the fuck is happening right now?
So okay, so
They literally just took a wedding invitation list from some sing somewhere, and they were like, all right, this will do. Name everything after this.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But so okay, so you're not that like I think I'm the same way. I'm not that into the Star Wars universe. I'm not that invested in the Star Wars universe.
Not at all.
I think I'm like maybe like you a little bit. What I'm really interested in is the way in which Star Wars infects our culture, like the way in which we talk about Star Wars.
Okay.
I think is more interesting than the movies themselves.
Sure.
Can I say this real quick?
Yeah.
I saw Star Trek recently.
Yep. Which one?
Both of them. Both of the new movies that just came out.
The
So-
three of them
Darkness and the
I thought
fucking.
there was just two.
There's three new Star Trek movies.
Three new
from-
Star Trek
with what's
Did
his
you
name,
watch
Chris Pine
Penn.
and all that.
Chris Pine or whatever.
You watched Beyond, the one with Idris
There's
Elba?
Star Trek Beyond, and then Star Trek Into Darkness, and that's the wrong order. But
I thought I saw. Well, I think I saw them all.
Sure.
All right. Anyway, my idea growing up is Star Wars was cool, and again, I wasn't
Yes.
invested. Star Wars was like the really cool, hip one,
Yep.
Yeah.
and Star Trek was kind of like an off-brand version.
Oh.
I go see Star Trek. Star Trek is like the swagged out alpha males,
Yeah.
and Star Wars is like
It's
the
like
nerds
nerdy.
who make it, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
Completely.
It's
Yeah.
a nerd story where like they got superpowers, then they ended up doing good.
It's weird
Yeah.
how Star Trek and Star Wars have kind of switched roles like that. 'Cause
Well,
Star
it's-
Trek
yeah.
now is like just an straight
an
up
action
action
thing.
movie.
I love it. I totally relate. It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's like swingers for space, right? It's like guys being
I mean,
guys, banging chicks.
Kirk
you
would
know what
fit
I mean?
right
Being
into that
brave.
group.
Fuck yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I'm
it has-
so stoked by it.
It
I can't wait
has
for more.
switched though, like 100%. It has switched, and like I do remember growing up because I don't know if you know this about me, Schultz, but I'm a nerd. Growing up, I was more of a Star Trek kid than even a Star Wars kid. So I was watching
Why is
fucking
that?
Next Generation because I was into the. What, like you were saying, sort of like fly on the wall stuff for like aspects of life that you hadn't seen. Like it's kind of similar. I'd seen a ton of movies where like people in space are fighting. Like that's cool. But like I kind of got into the politicking. Actually, this is why another reason I like this movie we're going to talk about. Like the politics of Star Trek in the larger scape of the entire thing really got me interested. The episode to episode, if there's like a monster of the week, I don't give a fuck. But
It's like, how do we manage with the Klingons
yeah,
and not
like,
go to war?
right?
and
And
kind
that
of
stuff got me more interested
It's
than
House of Cards, but in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Man,
with you.
if they did a
Minus
Star
the
Trek
sex
series
scenes, yeah.
with the same fucking level of like, I don't know, just fucking grit, I guess, as House of Cards, that'd be fucking awesome.
So Matt, tell us what Rogue One is about. Where's Rogue
the
One? fit in
IMDb?
Yeah, tell us how
Okay.
this all works out.
IMDb says, this is the description. The rebellion makes a risky move to steal the plans for the Death Star, setting up the epic saga to follow.
Nice. So pretty much the prequel to Episode 4.
Yes.
The prequel, which is funny because we've had 3 prequels.
Yep.
This is the mid prequel between Episodes 3 and 4,
But
right?
something I know their whole plan now, the whole plan, they're Marvel-fying or Disney-fying the fuck out of this shit. They're going to try to release one Star Wars movie a year, and they're going to go back and forth between like episodes. So the next one's going to be Episode 8, then the next one's going to be another Star Wars story. Like Rogue One was a Star Wars story. I think the next one might be Han Solo, like a
Right,
young
with
Han
Childish
Solo.
Gambino.
Just from a different
Yeah, just like an alternate story, like a
Wait a
story
minute,
that's
Childish Gambino's not going to be young Han Solo.
No,
no,
he's
he's going to be
Lando.
Of course not. He's going to be young Lando.
Yeah. So, okay, so they're just going to take a story from any time period during this thing where the people die at the end and you can't really continue the story.
Yeah, or anything, or maybe they'll jump forward. I don't know. This is the first experiment, right?
You know why they're doing that?
Why?
Because they can't.
Instead of having to release a movie every year, they can release one of their main episodes every 2 years.
Right. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
brilliant. So you get to put it off a little
Yeah,
bit.
I
and
also-
that means you can spend more time on those main episodes.
Yeah.
Great.
But I liked even in the beginning of this one, we'll get into it in a minute, but
Yeah.
like there was no crawl. There was no words that crawl, yellow words that
even
crawl
the
up.
music sounded different.
Yeah, music sounded a little bit different, and I really respected the fact that okay, they're differentiating what is a episode from their intro and what is and they still kept the long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That was nice. Then they just jumped right into it,
Yeah.
and I liked that a lot.
So, Andrew, what did you think of the movie? General impressions without spoilers. What do you?
Oh shit! We can't tell people what happened.
No,
How-
We
I
can
will,
we
we
can
will.
in 5 minutes.
But just
Oh, is that the rule? So you don't.
when society breaks down, these are the rules that we've instated.
It's the only rules we
I'm
have
trying to understand. So basically, the people can listen to this
up
episode
until a point.
and then
Yeah.
they know to turn it off. Okay, gotcha. Oh, so you get double listens. Very smart, guys.
Ha-ha!
Well done. Okay, so what did I think about it? Without giving anything away? I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good. I saw it earlier today.
Right.
So I thought it was very good. Now, I was very frustrated going into it. I was a little distracted in the beginning. I had no fucking clue what was going on for 15 minutes in the movie. The first 15 minutes in the movie was completely confusing. I had no clue what was happening.
Well, we were being introduced to new characters there. As well.
Sure. And I like being confused. So that's a good feel. Like, I don't like it when I know what's going on.
Right.
I like, okay, well, what is this going to mean?
Yeah.
Make it happen. So I was into it. I love the guy, the actor who plays Hannibal.
Oh, Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah,
I really
he's
like
great.
him. I thought it was good. I thought it was, I'd be really interested to see if like people were, you know how we always hear people talk about lack of diversity in films and lack of like, gender stereotypes with characters and
Sure.
that kind of stuff. I'd be interested to see if those same people, the social justice warrior types that complain, champion this film. Because this film literally had everybody.
Yeah.
Like there is not a single race that wasn't in this movie.
I mean, I think
There's
the
not
one thing it doesn't have is white people.
yeah.
No, the white people.
White men.
The white people are the empire.
Right.
Yeah,
true.
the white people are the evil people. We got it.
It's played by an Australian.
So
which I don't know if that's white or maybe that's whiter than white. I don't know.
But absolutely right. So you got the old white males.
Yeah.
You don't have like young white guy.
Yeah.
Like we're obsolete in Hollywood and entertainment. Young white males, like that's no longer allowed unless we're allowed to be gay. That's something I've learned. That's something I've learned.
Right.
So I got a part and recently that wasn't gay, and recently they called me today and they're like, "Oh, just to let you know we made it gay," and I was like, "Oh, of course he did." Why would you just put a white guy in anything? That doesn't make any sense. So, where's swingers when you need them?
Yeah,
okay.
right.
So, so I thought it was actually really cool. I'm seeing this film, like there's all these different, people. The guy has the accent, what I was saying earlier, the Spanish accent, which I thought was
Diego
hilarious.
Luna, yeah.
Diego, I was dying laughing the first, thing, because I thought
Because
only.
he's like a Han Solo, but with a Spanish accent.
Well, I just thought only English people made it to the future or the past or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
I've never heard Puerto Ricans go to the past, So I was so excited when I heard his accent. I just started laughing. I was like, "Oh shit! There's a colony of them somewhere. There's a planet. They got their own planet."
This reminds me of like my favorite theory about like time travel movies, which is like only white men love time travel movies because nobody else wants to travel back in time.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And it turns out nobody else wants to travel into the future in Star Wars either, because that's not a place for me.
Well, Star Wars is back in the
past.
day, or
long time ago in a galaxy
I
far,
wonder
far
if
away.
they're, like Battlestar Galactica, they're ever going to connect it to like our reality.
No, why
at
would
any
you?
point?
Our reality sucks.
so wait, it's long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
With more technology than we have.
With more technology, which is fine because a galaxy far,
Yeah,
far
it
away.
could be
right?
anywhere.
Makes total sense,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so I'm with it.
Okay, so you enjoyed it though.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. I thought the acting was really good. I thought the story was really good. And can we ruin it yet or no?
We will in
We'll
2
go
seconds.
round.
Shahir, what about you, buddy?
I'm on the dump Star Wars kind of side of things. Which has anyone? Have you
You're
guys
not
been,
into it.
No. Have you guys been following the dump Star Wars?
No,
on
what are you talking
hashtag
about?
on Twitter.
Dump Star Wars?
Yeah, so basically a bunch of not the social justice warriors that you're talking about, but basically Trump-esque supporters are pissed off at Star Wars because they basically feel it's championing minority issues. Like, this is a film that's supposed to prioritize the agenda of female in film and not white guys. And so they had this whole hashtag dump Star Wars. Now, I don't know if this was like a PR thing, but I thought that was kind of hilarious that there
Definitely a PR thing.
Yeah.
There's 7 people that tweet that and then they make a story about it.
And they made a whole story about it. No, I did appreciate the level of diversity in the film. And there was, I think it was...
Can I make a comment about that real quick? When I say I appreciate the level of diversity, I don't like obligatory diversity. I think it's corny. What I did like about it is it didn't seem like it was forced diversity.
That's the thing about this film, where a lot of times it's like, we're going to put a mix of everybody, and it's like, you did that for...
Go to Canada, right?
Yeah.
Every an ad on TV in Canada, there's a Chinese woman driving the car, because it's like Chinese people can drive, and it's a woman that's driving,
Oh my
and
God.
then there's the black dude that's in the passenger seat, because like, not only men have to drive the car, like everyone is trying to fight these like stereotypes, and I get it, but it's so obvious, right? It's not organic. What I appreciated is in this film, in the last Star Wars one that came out, was one, you saw this like alpha female character, but it didn't feel forced, right? And you saw the male character be very beta, actually. He was like the comic relief almost. I thought it was really, and then in this one, you see very similar things going on here, but it didn't seem like this forced, like, let's push as much diversity as we can. And all the characters seemed to make sense. It seemed like there were these people from different rebel outposts, and they're just kind of band together to form this alliance. It made sense.
And to me, the thing is that it kind of it reverses what we understand about Star Wars, because when we think about Star Wars, you're like, well, why aren't there black people in space? Why aren't there Mexicans in space? Why aren't there Pakistani people in space, which is an important thing for me? I want to bring up a tweet from Kumail Nanjiani,
Here we go.
He was tweeting today, and it was funny because I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, because I recently had a kid, and we were talking about representation on film.
Sure.
And the thing is, I grew up, I'm Indian. I didn't see many Indians on film.
Yeah.
And so Kumail said this. He said, I strangely started tearing up while watching this, and I'm a grown man. I thought of kids watching this movie and seeing people that look like them kicking ass. I held back tears for the rest of it. An action movie guy that looks like me. How cool. And I know Riz Ahmed only looks like me in my dreams. For the first time, I feel really the importance of representation. I feel like a kid watching this movie. I felt like I could do anything. Now, if you go back to our Ghostbusters review, remember our guest Jess Jollies on that had the same feeling about Ghostbusters, because she was like, it's amazing that there's a movie with kick-ass women in it.
I'm following you so far. I'm on the razor's edge though right now.
I do think I like that this film is diverse. I'm ultimately, as a film experience, I was generally pretty bored for most of it, and I still have that like problem with a lot of this sort of franchising of movies, where there are elements, and it's something that you brought up in a few reviews as well, where there are elements of this movie.
Oh shit! Am I gonna have to defend myself against myself?
A little bit. Elements of this movie where things happen that are clearly supposed to be important to the audience, but are treated as though they're important to the characters on film.
Well, and bring those up as we go through, because I didn't see any. So bring those up.
And so, we'll bring it up because it happens in the trailer, but the appearance of Darth Vader is supposed to be like, oh shit, this
not
has
the
a line.
same thing. Not the same thing. Okay. Okay. Go continue.
So I think the film kind of, for me, look, and the director Gareth Edwards is an interesting guy. He is a guy who
did Godzilla.
He did a little indie film called Monsters, which
I heard was great.
It's interesting. He's a guy who basically made his career doing visual effects. So he used to teach courses at this online site called FX PhD, and I did a few of them. And he's a good tutor.
Nice.
And he basically took that career and started making movies. And the thing that he was really good at is he could make small movies like Monsters with big effects in them.
Right.
And you saw that. And I think one of the things I really like about him is that his approach to visual effects is very artful. I like what he did in Godzilla. There's a couple of scenes in Godzilla from a visual effects standpoint that are really beautiful. And I think there's a lot of beautiful stuff in this film. Unfortunately, this film doesn't like stand up to me as a film that I will ever think about again.
Wow.
It's not a film I will ever really revisit. It's not a film that I really took a lot out of. Other than, I think there's some interesting discussions about the way in which, what you guys were talking about before, the way it reframes our understanding of the Empire and rebellions, and the way in which it maybe reframes our understanding of what happened in Episode 4. But again, does it really change what we know about Episode 4? Does it really profoundly impact anything that we've seen in the Star Wars universe? Does it really profoundly affect any of us as an audience member? It's just a fun film but for me, I found it mostly dull.
Well, I can't argue your opinion, Shahir, but I'm going to.
Right.
Yeah, I really liked it. I stayed away from a lot of this shit. A lot of the, like, I watched the trailer and I was like, cool. And I'm like, oh, it's the fight to get the Death Star plans. Great. That's all I need to know.
Right.
So I didn't like do any deep dives. I didn't do any research into like, oh, this character does this because of blah, 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 because I don't give a fuck until I see it. Let's see. Right off the bat, I agree with you, Schultz. The first 15 minutes, I was like, okay. I'm like, all right. I'm trusting this will eventually make sense.
Yeah.
And eventually it did. It made me interested in characters that were brand new to the series in a way more so than sort of the template characters of episode 7 sort of did. Like that sort of took, like the characters in episode 7, while they were cool, they kind of fit molds of like what there were 3 sort of main characters in the first trilogy. So it's like, oh, now there's 3 main characters. This felt like a truly nice breakaway from the standard, Star Wars, I guess, template.
Right.
And it turned it into, this is the first movie in 7 fucking movies named Star Wars that felt like a fucking war.
Yeah.
Like, when, especially in that final, like, 45, 50-minute battle scene at the end, like, that felt like they were at war. And no other Star Wars film has made me feel like there's actual sort of stakes, even though I knew the ending. And like, they just, everything had weight to it. When someone got punched or hit in this world, I was like, fuck. Like, maybe that's great sound design. Maybe it's something else.
But when stormtroopers died?
No, I don't give a fuck. They're stormtroopers. They're just fucking dispendable. Disposable.
But they did kill some stormtroopers, like, in a way that made me feel they were actually dead.
Right.
Like,
oh, yeah.
In the past ones, they just kind of get shot and they fall. You're like, are you dead? But there was one who was on the ground, like he got shot in the head.
Yeah, and there's one getting up and one of the guys. That's the other thing. So these are like, what I really liked about half of this, like, Magnificent Seven-esque group of people was like, some of them were real fucking scumbags.
Yeah.
Like, and I know they kind of dropped that near the end.
Yeah.
They kind of did what Suicide Squad wanted to do, but I feel like this movie did it correctly. And here's a bunch of people that are fucking just not your standard hero, and then they eventually step up for reasons.
Right.
What I will say is that and side note, as far as characters were concerned, S2O.
Yeah. He steals the show.
The robot played by
steals the show.
What's his name? Alan Tudyk?
Yeah.
Tudyk?
From Firefly, right?
Yeah. He was fucking awesome.
Very good.
And then what was my other thing? Oh, the thing, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but there was a couple CG characters.
Oh, yeah.
And I have some interesting things about that. Basically, we'll get to it when we get to it. But they
all had ball sex.
The what?
They all had ball sex.
Well,
you're
talking about the alien, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about
There's a bunch of them. They all had ball sex.
No, I'm talking about.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you know the old guy that Ben Mendelsohn, the main bad guy who's in the white robe?
Okay.
And he's talking to an older guy on the ship the whole time.
Yeah.
Did you know who that actor was? Or did you believe that was a real actor?
Wait, that wasn't a real actor?
That was a CGI character.
Yeah.
The whole time.
The old guy.
The whole time.
The old guy that wasn't in white?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the guy that was in white?
Yeah.
The guy that wasn't in white.
Wait, what?
So,
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Grand Moff Tarkin is the character's name.
Why did they do that?
Because the actor's dead.
So why don't they get another one?
He was
That's
in
exactly my point.
But he was in the
This
first,
isn't Boyhood.
Yeah, right.
We don't need to keep the same actors.
Well,
From
this
all
is an
these-
interesting thing because there's an interesting conversation about what happens to an actor's rights once they pass on now, and it turns out that we can actually recreate the performance entirely, and that
You don't even need humans anymore.
You don't
This is
need,
crazy.
You know how you got cast as a gay male recently? You
Yeah.
don't actually need to turn up on set, as it turns out. Like you can just chill back, and, like
Hilarious.
wait out.
Anyway, yes,
But what I'm glad about is that that didn't bother you, and you didn't even notice.
I didn't notice at all. No.
So I'm not sure. I noticed it, but I'm still not sure if it bothered me. We'll get to that. And my last sort of first impressions were sort of to your Vader point.
Mm-hmm.
Vader, up until the very end of this movie, feels forced and feels like fan service.
It feels like there's no reason for him to be in this movie.
But what this movie does very well is it takes fan service and it takes these sort of moments that wouldn't necessarily matter, and it does them just the right amount where it bridges on that thing where this is too fun to fail for me in a weird way. Vader, I don't think was what I've called out in movies before when something happens and the audience, like, it's supposed to like be impactful, like in the Star Trek movie that you were talking about when they reveal that Cumberbatch is Khan. You remember that shit when there's my real name is Khan, and all the characters on screen are like, oh my god, but the characters in that movie don't know who the fuck Khan is. The audience knows because it was the remake of the old movie, so it's a big moment that the characters are reacting to, but they don't have the knowledge to really react to it in that way.
Oh,
Darth Vader is different in this because everyone in the fucking galaxy knows who Darth Vader is, and he's the #1 boogeyman of the goddamn stars.
But what effect did he have on the
does he
plot?
have no legs, Darth Vader?
He had robot legs.
He's got no legs
he
and
has
no arms,
just
right?
waist. He's
Waist
just waist and then nub and he's like a t-shirt.
Yeah,
He's a t-shirt with a
walking
head.
around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with a helmet on.
And, okay, so how does he
and
pee?
asthma. With
Tubes.
Asthma.
A series of tubes.
So he pees with tubes.
Pretty much, you know,
in
when
that tank he was in. In that tank that when they
that's
first walked
all
up.
the breathing.
Yeah.
You know when
Okay.
he's like talking to you and he's like really silent and pauses for that's when he's
That's
taking a leak.
literally him relieving himself to continue on.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't understand it. Like, so does he eat? Like, I'm trying to make sense of this whole, you know. Like,
Who the fuck knows? He stays alive with the Force.
I mean,
so, yeah, the Force can keep you alive.
Yeah. And then this is really quick, the final thing, and then we're going to go into spoilers, is it's funny. The Jyn Erso, who the main character, the woman played
Love
by Felicity Jones, she goes from like, this is the one thing I didn't like as far as I felt like her character didn't develop naturally in the sense that she goes from like, fuck everything, I don't believe in anything, you guys are assholes, to we have to do it for hope. Hope this, hope that. Let's throw the word hope around because a new hope is the next episode. Like, and there's actually a YouTuber named Jenny Nicholson who did a great fucking video of it. She's been killing it, doing sort of like nerdy, basically deconstructing things. So check out her shit online. But like, it was too many uses of the word hope for me.
They were really plugging it.
And I was just like, this isn't your fucking character. Like, you went from 0 to hope in like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
But I don't know. In the end, I feel like it all sort of worked out for me.
Well,
So I
didn't she
liked
see
it.
her dad? Once you see her dad, that's hope.
Maybe. Yeah, when she saw the I can see that. When the hologram.
Yeah. No, when she saw her pops as a but then she actually went and saw the dad.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, so let's
all right,
go.
so let's get into spoilers.
Spoiler time.
Oh, yeah, my
So now,
bad. Sorry.
so now you can like.
Now
go
I can
into-
It's all right.
whatever.
We're
Now you
deep
can
in.
say
They're
what you
fine.
think.
They die. They die. at the
Everyone
end.
dies.
Okay? The Puerto Rican guy and the girl die at the end. All right? That's all you need to know.
And
They get
that's
him.
been our episode. Thank you
Thank
very
you so much.
Shit. Everybody dies. The fucking machine dies with the super long arms. Why are his arms so long?
He's
Makes
tall.
no
He's
sense.
like 9 feet
Yeah,
tall.
he's tall, but the arms are just abnormally long. He looks
like
like,
a-
the
he
blue
looks
guy
like
from
LeBron.
The Watchmen.
Oh, Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, he's Dr. Manhattan, but in
Just
like
with no
robot form.
blue penis.
Yeah, that's right. He did have a blue penis. No, it was so they die. Who else dies? Everybody dies.
Everybody dies.
The
Well, let's-
droopy-eyed guy dies. What's his name?
Droopy-eyed guy.
Forrest Whitaker. He dies.
It's one droopy eye.
Yeah, droopy-eyed.
Droopy-eyed.
Yeah, but he's droopy-eyed. Like he's a droopy-eyed man. You know what I mean? Like
One eye is droopy.
one eye is droopy, but he's a droopy-eyed man.
So
You know what I
whenever
mean?
you watch the Forrest Whitaker film, like you're like, that's droopy eye up
That's
there.
droopy eye. Yeah, he's got droopy
Oscar
eye.
winner, Forrest
If
Whitaker.
you say
Oscar winner.
droopy eye, I mean, I think a lot of the times he wins an Oscar because you're like, you know how talented you got to be to have a
To
droopy
act
eye
with that
and
eye.
be
Yeah.
in a film. You know, late in a film. So I think it's
He's
pretty
killing it then.
remarkable. So yeah,
His
he's
Idi
good.
Amin performance with that eye is amazing.
He had no legs. He was another guy. He wasn't. He was
Yeah,
more
so
of a
he was
tank
sort of
top.
like a proto Vader in a
Yeah.
weird way. Like he was like, so let's just go through chronology before everyone dies. Let's rewind.
Yeah. Everybody
everyone-
dies. Just
but
to let you
everyone
know.
dies.
Everybody dies. It's a great film.
Basically, it starts with a long time ago, galaxy far, far away. No crawl. I loved that. And then it starts with the whole what's the thing? The Krennic was the name. Bad guy in white. His name.
you played by Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah. So he lands on this fucking planet, and the father,
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen, aka what the hell was his? What was it? Galen Erso.
yeah.
He like is a retired fucking scientist for the Empire, and they're like, "You got to come back to work." And he's like, "I know, I have a family who's dead, but not
and
dead."
I just want to get to one thing here. Is you guys were both confused in this scene?
I was just like,
know what
"Where
the
the
fuck
fuck
is
is
going
this
on, bro.
going?"
I don't know why he had vegetation. There was no other vegetation on the
He was
planet.
farming.
Yeah, but the planet had no. It was just rock.
Right.
It was just a lot of things that didn't make sense.
Moisture farms.
It was raining. They had no raincoats. It's like
Yeah, that's
you know how
also
to make
true.
spaceships, but you don't know how to make plastic that folds.
There's
so you
force
can put
fields all over this fucking movie. You're telling me you don't have a personal like?
an umbrella.
Yeah.
All you need is an umbrella, a hat. They're out here wearing cloaks.
That is
You have a cloak.
Wool cloak.
What absorbs more? Just wear a sponge. They're out there in the middle of the rain wearing sponges, and you have a daughter, and the best you can do is hide her in like a little
a little
a rock thing.
In a little rock hole.
Trapped, I don't fucking know.
rock trapdoor.
Okay,
So what do we do? We explain the whole movie to them or no?
We just walk through it. It's,
Oh, okay.
little bits and pieces.
Just kind of like what your impressions were.
Okay, so we see it. I see the little girl. I figure mom and dad are both dead, but they don't end up dying. She gets away. Then you see Forrest Whitaker finds her in the thing. I'm just like,
Right.
okay, whatever. I get it. Set it up. Boom.
And then
That's fine.
instantly, 13 years later, time
Yeah.
jump, you see same girl.
There's always a baby that's like stolen.
It's
or something,
Star Wars.
right? That's the
That's
whole thing.
Star
in Star Wars, right? It's orphan. It's just an orphan story.
Everyone is an orphan, or at
the
least
baby
taken from the
Jesus story. You know, like at some point.
Oh, it's the baby Jesus story.
Yeah.
You know, like at some point there's a baby.
But baby Jesus always had his mom.
No, wait, sorry. Who was the one? Well, which baby was like left in a basket? Jason.
Moses.
Moses was. Yeah, the baby Moses.
No,
story.
no, no. Oh, oopsie, my bad. Not Moses.
Yeah, no. Moses was left in
Was
the
it
basket.
Moses? Oh, yeah, he got picked up by the Egyptians.
Yeah, exactly. And then he
Yeah, yeah.
went on to like.
And then he
split
learned how to be a Jedi, and he
Learned how
got
to
his
be-
fucking lightsaber. No, is that the same story?
Oh, so it's the Moses story.
That's the Moses. Well, I just like, and then there's
It's a hero's journey. It's a hero's journey.
I'm gonna jump ahead.
So
a
if you
little-
have both of your parents, there's no way you can.
Oh, you can't
amount
do
to
shit.
anything
No.
in Star Wars.
No,
Right?
you're literally random fucking X-wing pilot. No, you're not even flying an X-wing. You're like flying a Y-wing or those other ships that no one wants to drive.
No, you're a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you have your family.
Yeah, yeah.
If you come from
When
a good family,
when
you're a stormtrooper.
When you're raised up. I mean,
Exactly.
actually, well, this gets into an interesting thing, which is that what I found really compelling and interesting about this one was the way it reframed this idea of the Empire and the Rebellion.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've always found really strange about the Star Wars universe.
Oh, I like this about
Yeah.
your opinion. Yeah.
Is that we don't. I don't think any of the Star Wars films has really framed our understanding of how this world works and what oppression under the Empire actually means. Like,
Yeah,
everyone's-
what are they doing that's
Yeah,
so
like-
bad? It
yeah,
seems
like-
like they're pretty good.
And I want to bring up this
Right?
quote-
Like, what's so bad about them? I don't.
Well, I wanna
matter of
bring
fact, no offense. It seems like everybody's breaking the law when the Empire's not around.
Exactly. The Empire's actually like
The Empire is
'Cause
order.
They go to the outer rim to go to like Jabba's place and
Yeah, and they're
shit.
trading random shit that's super illegal.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
steal like everybody's like Han Solo's a thief.
Yeah.
We need some Empire.
So what
we need some stormtroopers to keep these guys in line.
Well, here's the
It's a big galaxy.
Listen,
Here's
I'm
the-
starting to side with Vader. Vader is trying to do. Vader is Henry Kissinger. He's
Yeah.
trying to do the best that he can. You know
trying
what
to
I
put
mean?
shit together. He's trying to keep
exactly.
people-
It's
Well,
like we need
I-
some order in this world.
I want to bring up this quote that this video went viral a
Fucking
few months ago, but it was,
Communist rebels or whatever they are.
listen to this. This is a former CIA operative by the name of Amaryllis Fox.
That's a badass name.
It is a badass name. You should see her as well. She looks like she's straight off the set of Homeland.
girl?
Yeah.
All right.
And-
Amaryllis Fox. Damn.
And
now there's no way
now
that's a real
I know
name.
I know right away as well. As soon as I bring this quote up, there's been a lot of refutations of this quote of her entire video. She basically did a video on Al Jazeera where she's explaining American foreign policy.
Sure.
And she has this final quote in it, which I thought was really interesting. She was speaking to an Al Qaeda fighter, and she said this about what he said. He said, all these movies that America makes, like Independence Day, Hunger Games, and Star Wars, they're all about small, scrappy bands of rebels who will do anything in their power with the limited resources available to them to expel an outside technologically advanced invader. And what you don't realize, he
Dude,
said
yeah.
to us, is to the rest of the world, and he's saying this to America, you are the Empire and we are Luke and Han.
Dude, this is-
You are the aliens and we are Will Smith.
I wanted to do jokes about this after watching the movie. This is what I wanted to say. I was like,
Right.
yeah, we're the fucking Empire.
Right,
You know what I mean?
America's the Empire.
And it couldn't have been more blatant in this film because they have them in Kabul. Literally, Dundu or whatever that fucking city, Jinda, whatever it is Kabul. They got the headdresses on.
You got terrorists who are, well, not terrorists. I mean, that's the
Well,
thing.
so there's
Who's
so-
the terrorists?
yeah. Well, then there's I mean, technically,
That being said, there is one thing, not to cut you off, but
Yeah.
there is one thing.
Right.
It's like in this world, you have the Empire, which
Right.
is, let's say, America, right? But the Empire isn't fighting with like two other empires that are way worse.
right.
Right.
There's not
Right,
like
there's no
Chinese
Russia and
Empire
China.
and Russian Empire. Like,
Yeah.
and then if you're a rebel, you're like, all right, give me America. It's not that bad. You know what I mean? It's like we're the best
if-
case scenario.
but if you look at
we're the best one.
you can look at the prequels, right? And I don't like to do that, but look at the prequels and how it used to be a republic, and then all of a sudden, like rights just slowly started seeping
Yeah.
away, and then it became an empire. That doesn't seem fucking
we
familiar at
are
all.
the fucking empire, man. I'm so supportive of the empire. I'm so supportive. Let's do it.
I think the thing that I was sort of, struggling with within this film, and I think that the
What do they do that's wrong? What is wrong about the Empire? What is the bad
Well,
thing?
and it's like, and I
They
understand.
never really showed it.
I understand that there's like the sort of basic story structure of like the small scrappy guys who are trying to like fight off the big bad invader. I get that, it's understandable, but I feel like we've always the Star Wars Empire has always missed one story beat.
Yeah.
And it's like one story beat about like what is so bad about the Empire, and it seems like obviously you have this guy in all black, so from an iconographic point of way, he looks like evil, he does bad things with his mind, but like what is
I will say this. First episode, A New Hope, they blow up a fucking planet for no reason.
But why? Why?
And also, let's not
You don't
forget
know.
about.
Maybe that
let's not
planet
forget
needed
about.
to get
Let's not
blown
forget.
up.
No, they were a
I
peaceful
wanna-
planet. They didn't have any weapons.
I
It
also-
was Alderaan. It was basically one of the places that wanted the Republic to come back, and they're like, no, we're going to use this as a weapons test.
But have you guys seen Clerks? Kevin Smith's movie
Yeah.
Clerks. You remember the Star Wars monologue in Kevin Smith's
about how like the workers on the Death Star
Yeah,
died?
and it was
yes.
And so my point there is, and it's the reason why I brought up the thing about like, did you care when stormtroopers got killed?
They're faceless. That's why you don't care.
But in episode 7, the movie we just watched, The Force Awakens,
Yep.
what did we learn about stormtroopers?
Oh,
They're
They're people too.
Oh, yeah.
Stormtroopers are people too. And so what I'm saying is, we don't ever like the films are really simplified versions of like good and evil, and like
And this is the most gray of them all, this movie.
and it's still like the most simplified understanding of the one. Now I get it. I understand that we don't want our summer entertainment to be gray. We
It's
want
December, baby. It doesn't matter now.
but you know what I mean? Like, so
Happy holidays.
So I still find that aspect of Star Wars still bothers me somewhat, and it's not it's not exactly what I'm looking for in a movie. And I found like this kind of villainish bad guy, good guy thing that the Seven Samurai kind of, are setting up to do.
Right.
Really didn't work for me. So, there's a scene where Diego Luna is set up to kill Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
They like shoot him on sight and then he decides not to do it. I like, from a story point of view, it would really make sense if he actually did it or he really tried to do it.
Yes.
Because in the story as it stands right now, he chooses not to, but we don't know why.
So there's after
and I'm missing those kinds of like
let's go down the rabbit hole
sensible
and
beats.
get to that. So they rescue older now Jyn from the rebellion rescues Jyn from a prison camp from the Empire, and they get her back in front of everybody, and they're going to use her as leverage to get to her father because they're telling her they want to bring him in, but the rebels are actually going to try to assassinate him once they find him. And the only person they've heard who knows where
Well, no, they're not. The initial thing was bring him in, and then that other guy came over and said, "Forget what you heard in
Sure.
there."
Yeah.
Right. So the rebels.
There's
Does that make
infighting
sense to you?
in the rebels. It didn't really, but I think there's again. This is why I like this movie is because
I think they're trying to showcase that the rebels aren't all good.
they're not all
There's some
unified either,
shitty
and
thing.
especially by the end when they're trying to make a decision whether to attack or not, and then couldn't make a decision. Well, they're like,
Or
no,
earlier when Luna killed the informant.
yeah,
Right.
like
Remember?
there's
There's a bad guy in this. He wasn't good.
So and then they use basically Jyn to get a hold of Guerrera. Was that Forrest Whitaker's name?
Yeah.
And then because he knows where Galen is, yada yada yada. So, but they have to go to Guerrera's basically offshoot of the rebellion that is too rebellious to be in the rebellion.
Yeah,
their
crazy.
tactics are too extreme.
Let's go.
And they're gonna try to use her to get an audience with there, and then they're gonna do whatever. And then there's even within that to make this more confusing. That guy goes up to I can't keep track of all these fucking names. Cassius? No.
Cassium.
Cassian. Yep, there we go. It sounds like a old fucking boombox.
Cassium is Luna though.
Yeah.
Diego Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes up to him like you just said, Schultz, and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, fuck what they said. You're gonna fucking murder him." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Yep." Like there's infighting. I like that. Like that makes the rebellion more believable.
It's like the Boston Celtics when Larry Bird was on the team.
Oh Jesus! Wait, Larry Bird, Jordan for 1-on-1.
No,
like
not
back in the-
1-on-1, but like back in the day, like when the coach would drop a play for one of the other players,
Yeah.
Larry Bird would be in the huddle, he'd be like, "All right, go." And then as they walk down the floor,
He'd
to
call
go
another play. Yeah, I remember that.
He'd pull the guy over. He goes, "Hey, just give me the ball."
Yeah. Listen, if you got Larry Bird or Luke
exactly.
Skywalker on your team, you want to like
just you
let them
them
shoot
go.
his
There's
threes.
coverage of him in the play, like, okay, good, okay, we're gonna do that. All right, good. And then as they go, he just pulls the guy aside. He goes, "Pass me the ball." What are you fucking kidding me? You out of your fucking mind? I'm
It
Larry
was
Bird.
exactly the Celtics moment.
So yeah, they're the
now-
Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
These rebels. Okay.
So then, meanwhile, this is the part this is the last bit I'll talk about that I was confused, and then sort of everything made more sense.
Okay.
We cut to.
I'm more confused now. And I just saw it like a few hours ago. I'm more
We
confused.
cut
I
to
have no clue what's going on.
the desert on one of the
Yeah.
planets,
Yeah.
and that guy with the gas mask, who I have no fucking idea what his name was. He had like tubes coming out. They captured the Imperial pilot who brought the thing to Guerrera.
Right. Played by Riz Ahmed.
Yeah, which his name was. What the fuck was his name?
Doesn't matter. Who cares?
We're doing so well.
Riz
I know.
Ahmed.
We're
Riz
doing
Ahmed.
great.
Riz Ahmed.
Let's just call him
Yeah.
Riz. Everybody
Rook.
knows him as Riz.
Yeah. So, and like they capture him, and like he's helping, but not. He was the character that I felt. I was like, I have no idea who the fuck you are. Like
Riz Ahmed?
Yeah.
That character? You know what's funny for me is I really like Riz Ahmed as a character, and it's not just because I'm Indian, but I actually kind of thought he should have been the Diego Luna character. Like
Interesting.
Oh,
he's-
Bodhi Rook is his name, by the way. The
Whatever.
character.
Bodhi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bodhi!
I don't know. Did you guys watch the night of this?
Yeah,
this
of course.
series?
He's great.
He's great. And I feel like he seems to be more of a leading man.
I thought he did great. I mean, not to cut you off, but I thought this showed a lot of range for him.
For him?
Yeah, because he was more vulnerable in this, and he was a little bit more passive and a little bit more scared. And seeing him in what was the other show?
The night of?
The Night of, he was like super alpha. He went for it. And,
Right.
it showed a lot of range for him. To me, like I think obviously he'll get whatever job he wants after doing Star Wars.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as like somebody, if I was hiring an actor, I would go, whoa, this guy
Has range.
He can do the thug shit and he can do the pussy
Right.
Yeah.
shit. And I thought he did it. Now, did I like Luna that much? I don't know. He was all right.
I see. Like Diego Luna is in one of my favorite movies of all time, You Tu Mama Tambien. I think that dude is just
Yeah.
that movie is just phenomenal.
But I don't know if he had that Han Solo charisma.
and it's weird because I think they're kind of pitching him as a sort of
Solo,
solo-ish.
He's
kind
the
of,
solo of this one, and the other kid did a great job. Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. Yeah,
He's got charisma.
Yeah.
That kid's.
He's the most charismatic man in Hollywood,
I've
other
seen-
than The Rock.
I've said
Yeah.
this before. He's my total man crush on this show. Like that guy could walk into any room and just he seems to be the center of attention wherever
Yeah,
he goes. you
yeah.
know? And that's the thing. He's not even the main character in that movie.
Yeah.
But he kills it.
Yeah.
Alpha. We need alpha males and shit. Telling you.
Dumb
we need
Star
it.
Wars, dumb
we
Star
need
Wars.
alpha males. It's very important.
We need more white
We need
men.
things. Not even white. Is he white? That guy?
No.
Oscar Isaac? No, he's Hispanic.
Yeah, he's some
Isaac
shit.
isn't his real name.
Yeah, he's some shit. But it's like it's just he's just alpha. I don't care what
Yeah.
you are. Just I like Idris Elba. He's
Yep.
fucking alpha. You know,
Yeah.
we need to see alpha dudes. We need to stop acting like this alpha shit is like hurting people in any way. This alpha shit won worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Idris Elba for Bond. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Let's go.
Even though it's probably not, sadly. But rebels with Jin and everybody go flying off to the fucking city where they're gonna go find Guerrera. Right?
But okay, so I guess what I'm getting at though is like, how's your level of confusion at this point?
Right
Both
now,
of you.
I'm fine. Like at this point, I'm like, got it. They're going to find the
way
dude.
more confused in the retelling of this than I was watching the movie. By this point in time, I knew exactly what was going on.
Right in the
movie.
film.
Yeah, I just didn't know what was going on for like the first 5 minutes. But basically, they got to go back to Dundu. What is it?
Yeah, some other fucking
Dundu or something. So they got to go to Dundu.
Oh, Jedha, the moon Jedha.
Exactly, Jedha. Yeah, of course. This is hilarious.
You did pick the nerdiest film to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's great. So Jedha. So they go to Jedha.
And there's the first moment of true fan service, when the dude bumps into Jin in the street. He goes, "Hey, you better watch where you're going."
it's the
That's
guy
the
from-
dude in Tatooine in the first one that tries to harass Luke in the cantina, and Obi-Wan chops his arm off.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which I thought was
You know why you didn't know that?
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit.
But you know what? But here's the thing,
Nobody
Schultze,
gives a shit.
but the fans give a shit. This is the perfect moment because fans give a shit, but it didn't take anything away from
Right,
you.
right. It
It
was
was
easy.
so inert that if you didn't know it, it didn't fucking matter. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, this is a tough place that
It
they're
was
in.
like the Stan Lee shout out
Sure.
in all the movies.
Yeah. But like again, it didn't. Did that moment hurt it for you, Shahir? Were you like, oh fuck?
I saw it as equal opportunity for men and women. If a woman bumps into you, get the fuck out of the
Didn't
way,
that
bitch.
guy have balls on his chin as well, Peter Griffin style?
Oh, the second guy, yeah,
Yeah, balls on the chin.
his buddy.
Every one of these aliens had balls on their chin. It was the weirdest thing.
Oh, George Lucas's world.
Teabagging in this universe is really
It's
difficult.
really popular. Yeah.
So the first fight happens here when like basically the rebels.
Right, the rebels.
David Bowie lands in.
Yep, and they fight. That fight's decent. Like it's nothing great. I do like you meet the other characters of our merry band. Fucking this name.
The
Johnny
Asian
fucking-
dude.
Johnny Yin.
Donnie
and then
Yen.
the Samoan.
Ip Man himself. No, it's not. It's I've got his name down.
Is he not? Is he not
Johnny
Samoan?
No, he's not. He's
What is
Chinese
he?
as well.
And Wen Jiao.
But he's like Hawaiian
Wenjiao.
Chinese.
Chirrut Imwe
I mean, he's
and
got a
Baz
tan.
Malbus.
Yeah, he's
I wouldn't
tan.
call him Samoan though.
We don't know. He could be. I think he's probably Hawaiian. That guy. I got a Hawaiian vibe from him.
I really liked.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he's not.
He's not Hawaiian. Let's look it up. I would put good money down
gonna
to
put
say
money
that
on
he's
that?
Hawaiian.
All right,
I think he's Hawaiian. I just got a Hawaiian vibe from him. I didn't get a Chinese vibe, bro. I'm sorry. I
What
did
is
not.
the Chinese vibe?
The Chinese vibe is different. The Chinese vibe is not carrying around like
China. He was born in Tangshan, China.
Wait, which guy are we talking about? The guy with the staff or the guy with the gun?
That's the guy with the
The
gun.
guy with the gun.
That's the guy with the gun?
Yeah.
That's the guy with the gun.
That's a different guy. I don't
No.
believe that at all. The guy with the staff.
Look.
You're just saying
Yeah, I
he
know.
had dreads.
The guy with the staff is Donnie Yen.
Okay, that guy was awesome. The
Yeah.
guy with the staff. I
So,
loved
and,
him.
and side
himself.
note, this is something I fucking
That's
love.
it, man.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Okay, I
Yeah.
fuck with that guy.
Yeah.
But this other guy, you're telling me he's from China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
I can't. That's what IMDb says.
Nah, dude, something's up.
But no,
there. That guy looks Hawaiian.
Dude, I loved in this movie
guy's
that there
fine.
were.
I gotta
bro.
put money down. Next time
You
we
gotta
do
put
this,
money
I'm
down.
gonna
You
put
do.
money-
I would have bet you. I would have bet you any amount of money he wasn't. Or maybe it was Chinese in like ethnicity or like heritage, but he's obviously was raised and spent his formative years in Hawaii.
But the
In my personal
I'm gonna
opinion.
put money down. On
In my personal opinion, I still feel that way. I still feel that way.
on the record,
Yeah. Listen, my Wikipedia
Yeah.
page has a lot of
just
lies
change
in
it after the show. Just change it. Just go on there. And
I will
change
do it. I mean, mine is a complete disaster right
Is it
now.
really?
Oh God, people.
Oh
have been
wait, I looked at it like a while back.
Oh, it's awful. I'm half Somalian.
Right.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
no, I see it.
I'm half Somalian. I
Majored
have
in philasiology.
philasiology
Nice.
or
Wow.
fetiology, a bunch of different things.
You went to
wild.
UCSB.
That's an
I went to
emerging field.
UCSB, yeah.
Yeah, that
There
makes
was a
sense.
lot of philasiology,
Philasiology,
yeah.
but I don't know if it was a major.
UCSB a couple of times. I remember that town.
Okay, so those two guys who were fucking unbelievable.
And I loved
Loved
that
it.
there was a force, not even user, but just like someone who
Believed in it.
Believed in it, and he wasn't a fucking Jedi. Like that was awesome.
Wait, hang on. The dude is blind and can fight anyone.
And he's
Like,
using the force, but he's not a Jedi. He doesn't have. He's
Is he not a Jedi? I think
no,
that was,
because
that
a
was the
Jedi you
last
have to train and
definitive-
train and train and train. You become a Jedi. There are people that are force like sensitive, and that's why he can.
He was
do what
force
does.
sensitive.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just dug it. And I loved how they had that like Hodor moment, whereas like I am the force is with me. the
Oh,
force is
yeah.
not- yeah. It was
Yeah.
really cool.
What I
was
what I
into it.
liked about that is you got someone like Donnie Yen, and so they do a fight sequence with him, and they don't cut away. Like it's like you see him in action. You know, like a lot of fight scenes where you're seeing people punch out who obviously aren't fighters.
Yeah.
You know, you just cut around them. You know, like
No, he's doing everything.
he's doing everything, and they keep their distance, and they kind of shoot it in a way so you can just see what's happening.
Again, it feels visceral. It feels real. Like that fight was probably the most real fight in any Star Wars movie up
Oh,
to date.
yeah.
Like,
He was bad.
But I want to get to one thing here, which is that so we're introduced to these other characters, and the thing for me is I found his character way more compelling than Diego Luna or Felicity Jones. Like
the Asian dude.
Donnie Yen. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
the real
I would-
Asian dude or the Hawaiian dude?
the real
real Asian,
the real
Okay.
Asian dude.
Yeah, the real Asian.
based
dude.
on Schultz's Wikipedia modifications.
and the
okay.
other the Schultzian Hawaiian
The
dude.
Hawaiian, yeah. There's the Asian dude and the guy from Maui. Yeah. Okay.
But I was more interested in
Not
those
only
two
is he from Hawaii, he's specifically from Maui.
Maui?
Yeah.
He grew up
Specifically.
surfing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say surfing. I would say he was
Used
more
to
like
hang
a
out with
mountain
The Rock.
guy.
He-
I like how
he-
we're
he
literally
and The Rock are
designing
the
this
same
No, he
person.
doesn't know the
life.
Rock at all. Not
Doesn't
at
know
all.
The Rock.
Not at all. No.
Okay.
He's briefly
Him and Jason Momoa.
not even Momoa, but he did play Barack Obama in like a middle school like baseball.
I was going to say
tournament.
he was an extra in Magnum PI.
Who
Like, your Hawaiian guy.
Oh yeah.
Extra Magnum PI. He
Yeah.
was like the little kid that would like bring Magnum his like.
His
Mimosas.
sandwiches or
Yeah,
something like that.
exactly.
Well, this has been the only podcast about Wen Jiang. Thanks for.
What's really bad is that dude is like a famous Chinese actor that we're just like fucking with right now.
Oh, that's great.
That
Okay.
guy's like been around for.
Baz
Really?
Malbus.
I like that guy. He was great.
Name's fucking Baz.
But did you guys like? Is it just me? But like, I was way more interested. in
No,
those,
the
and
two
I feel like
main characters for me were the least of them. But I don't
interesting.
But I don't care. Like I like that they're there and they're sort of moving the story forward and getting me where I need to go.
Yeah.
And they're surrounded by all these fucking cool people or things.
Yeah.
Like the fucking robot and these two guys we just discussed. Like
Yeah.
I loved that little weird group dynamic. Hell, when the rebels come and take Donnie in, they put a bag over his head. And he's like, "What the? I'm fucking blind." Like that moment is great. And your main characters, I think they realized early. Well, maybe I don't know the way they designed the characters.
Yeah.
There is no Han Solo. Han Solo. our boy in this movie is Han Solo without
Luke.
like the love, or
Yeah.
not without like the comedy. Almost.
He's just Solo.
He's not.
yeah, he's just Solo.
Yeah, he doesn't have
There's
the Han.
no Han.
Dude, Han is hard to get, bro. Han is a very difficult thing. It's
weird.
It was missing Han. You know what else I've noticed the Star Wars world is missing? Safety nets.
Yeah.
Like so many people, so many stories
fall.
couldn't happen if it wasn't for falling. Like apparently nobody falls in the Star
Nope.
Wars world
Right.
except when the made people die.
People love
build these
catwalks.
long structures without like any
No handle, no safety bar. There's no like, what is that? Like FDA regulation?
Oh,
Not
none.
FDA, but what is that like bureaucratic shit where you need like 40 people to sign off on you
OSHA?
doing your plumbing?
Uh,
You know, like you want to
yeah,
renovate
yeah,
your
yeah,
bathroom, you need
yeah,
the
we-
city to come on and check it out.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they don't have that on.
There's
the
no
Death Star.
inspectors. There's
Maybe
no-
that's
yeah.
the problem
Nothing.
with the Empire. The Empire is like they're fucking with people and they don't have any like respect for human life.
Oh, there's no fucking unions in the Empire.
know
They're
what?
just forcing people to work on Death Stars and shit.
So maybe the Empire is like a very kind of libertarian free market philosophy.
Possibly, but they're gonna always come out on top. It's that sort of rigged.
Oh, it's a rigged free market. All right, fair enough.
That's not familiar at all.
I'm just being a curmudgeon and making observations about.
I like it. That's what we're here for. So eventually, I mean, we'll just go to power through some of this stuff till we get
Yeah.
to something.
because
Were you
and-
guys bothered by like the outfits and how dated they looked?
no,
Like
because
those big Nintendo buttons on the fucking.
it matched it because it takes place so close to the
I
original.
know it does,
Yeah.
but it's like I'm watching it now, and like I have to
I
see
get
this
it.
like
the one,
old
I
shit.
think the one thing that stood out to me
The,
was how
the chiclets are pretty funny though.
The chiclet, it's like.
But
what's going on?
I also found like Darth Vader's costume didn't hold up. You know, like it looked like a Nintendo, control on it.
but you're
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
didn't like
change
that.
I didn't like that.
Vader.
yeah,
yeah.
and I also don't like in Star Trek when they use the flip phones.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just weird. It's like I understand you're kind of locked to it.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's an interesting to think about when making films. Is like, okay, if I'm going to do a cell phone device, I have to do a device that hasn't been invented yet, because in the future, if this shit gets remade or I want to do more movies, I don't want it to look so dated.
Yeah.
Well, it's exactly to your point as well. Like that actor, Grand Moff Tarkin, the one we meet in the next scene.
Yeah.
Like, why not just cast another actor in that scene? Why do we have to lock in?
I have a theory.
with this actor.
I have
Yeah.
a theory.
You know, like-
I have a theory about this.
Okay.
So there's a couple scenes. I think there's 3 separate scenes throughout this with Grand Moff Tarkin, and he's there, and they want to keep it connected. And the reason I think they did CGI, there's 2 reasons. One,
Yeah.
to show that they could do it.
Yeah, that's what I
Right.
think it is.
2, to get us used to it as we go for a moment at the very end of the film.
Yeah.
Because we're already in spoilers. We're jumping all around. Basically, at the end of the film, after they're getting away with the plans they just stole,
They die.
yeah, well, the main characters do, but then then they get the plans to the ship, and then it's Leia's ship that starts A New Hope off, and Leia turns around.
Did you think that was a CGI?
Princess Leia at the very end of the movie when she turns around and says, "Now there's hope" or whatever, with the girl in white.
I thought it was her, but they just put a lot of makeup on.
No, that was total CG. That wasn't an
They
actual.
did a bad job of that.
Yeah, but what
She
I'm saying,
looked 60 with makeup on.
but here's the thing about
But
it.
also, how much CGI do you need? It's Snapchat. Like Snapchat does all that.
I know,
not
but this is what I'm
this
saying.
level.
My
Snapchat's pretty good. I mean, I've seen. I've been
yeah.
tricked.
But the
I
point,
would love Shot Straight to this movie. He was like, we don't need this fucking.
just
I
fucking
would have
do it
done it with
on Snapchat.
Snapchat. Get anybody right there, put the Snapchat on their face, and then it's done. Just do a filter of the guy.
But I
in the
think-
background, you got this guy with his tongue hanging out. You got like,
Yeah.
the dog or the deer or the
take
fucking
the
toast.
fucking doggy ears out in post,
Yeah.
and then it's fine.
But I think they did Moff Tarkin, right?
Yeah.
To get us used to that moment. So when we saw Leia, it didn't knock us out of the fucking moment, and it can be powerful at the end. I think they were using it
well,
to
here's the
get us
thing.
used to it.
Did it work for you?
I think honestly, if you notice the CGI, if I didn't have Moff Tarkin before this, I would be like, "Fuck you." at
Does
the
she
end.
get paid?
Yeah, I'm sure she gets
Carrie-
paid. That's her
Carrie
like.
Fisher?
She's still alive.
I'm sure,
Carrie
yeah.
Fisher. Yeah.
So if you use her likeness, you got to pay her.
You're trying to figure out how to like structure your next union contract,
No,
right?
it's something
yeah,
to
you got to
consider,
get your
right?
digital image.
No, it is. It's something to consider. Like,
Have you
if
ever been
could just
face scanned for
recreate
any of
us-
your shows?
Probably. I don't
Like,
know.
or do you ever do dots on your face to like actually make like a
Of
3D
mold
model?
on my face? No,
No?
never.
Okay.
No, we're good.
Yeah. So right now you're fine.
That is something to consider. Wow.
No, there was a feature film that came out about this with starring Robin Wright Penn last year, which is about an actress who finds out that she doesn't actually need to turn up to sit anymore.
Right.
And and there's been some interesting conversations about that phenomenon because the one that they keep talking about is Humphrey Bogart. Could you bring Humphrey Bogart back? And you probably could now.
Yeah.
But who do you pay and how does that work? And does that mean we're going to get Humphrey Bogart movies for the next 50 years?
Yeah. This is wild, dude.
Yeah. It's the future.
The thing about it though is I didn't think
this technology.
I didn't think the technology actually worked, and for me,
The Uncanny Valley just was not. It did. We haven't crossed that yet.
When you put her next to like a real actor like Ben Mendelsohn, the thing that I was looking at constantly was like, well, how does the lighting on this person's face feel different to the lighting on this person's face, and how do they move?
But at the same time, I bet you a lot of people. I mean, Schultz, you didn't notice. I bet you a lot of people won't notice it.
I thought it was makeup on the woman who's alive.
Yeah.
Right.
But I noticed that she looked different. But I was like, okay, they usually use makeup, they use CGI or something to make her face look young, like what they did with Anthony Hopkins in Westworld.
Yep.
So they have cutbacks,
it,
but they make him look really young.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some kind of weird makeup they can do, or maybe they do CGI. I don't know how it works.
It's really kind of both. They'll like for Anthony Hopkins and probably for the body work of these characters, they'll have a regular, normal, like younger actor stand there and do the motions, and then they'll face map someone else's face or a CG face in this case onto their face.
Okay.
I would rather they just used a different actor.
Well,
Like
I don't know. I
looks
didn't mind
a
it
little
at the
bit
end
like
of the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. That's what I will say. But
It bothered me.
Really?
Yeah.
See, in
Look-
that case, because I know that she's still. In that case, I like the CGI. I'm going to be honest.
Really?
With you. Yeah,
well,
just
because
because
you didn't notice it. Yeah.
And also, it's like I don't think that. I guess you could call her Princess Leia, but it's just so iconic the way she looks, and she doesn't look that different now than how she used to look.
Right.
And she's supposed to look exactly how we know that she looks.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're going back in time to a time that we don't know what that person looked like.
right, if we saw like 13-year-old Princess Leia,
Or if we see 13-year-old me,
Yeah.
for example, it's like we don't know what that is. So you can get any
can get
white
anyone.
kid has brown hair, etc. But if I'm established at 13 and now we're going back to me at 13, there's limitations
Right.
as to what we can do.
I get it. But I you know what I think I would have liked is if they just did it for the Princess Leia moment. Like the fact
I
that
think
they,
it would have thrown me out.
No,
But it's fine. Whatever. Whatever. All right, so we've been talking about this whole thing for a bit. Let's just jump sort of to the last battle, the 45-minute battle that really, after they get they find out where the actual plans are, the rebels aren't even with them. They even leave the rebellion because the rebellion can't agree to go help them because it's just based on
was she
Jin's word.
proposing?
Yeah. What was she proposing?
I don't know why, but that line got the biggest laugh.
Because
in
it
my
was
theater.
silly. It was literally a fucking cat caller like 9 rows back in this meeting.
Yeah, I think that was the thing. Like 2 people behind me was like, "Who the fuck was that?"
Who the fuck was that?
I don't even remember that line.
And so they steal the ship, they steal the Imperial ship, and then they go off and they give themselves a designation Rogue One as they're leaving, which I thought was a cute little,
I don't know. It reminded me, like I think in Family Guy they always have a thing. He's saying the name of the movie in the
I know,
thing.
I know.
was like,
But this again, like everything else in this movie that in a lesser crafted film would bug the shit out of me, I was like, all these little moments felt earned enough to me, and that's why I could get behind them.
right.
But this battle, fucking guys, this had everything I wanted. Had huge moments with the AT-ATs, the big fucking walker shits
Yeah.
versus the rebels. That
Have
was
they
cool.
ever won?
No,
No,
seem like
they
the-
always get fucked. It's the worst.
You think after a while they'd start to realize, you just clip the legs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just maybe we should make something with a lower center of gravity.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Admittedly, this film takes place before all the league.
Oh, before the snow.
So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is before they've learned, but maybe they should have learned by now.
Come on,
I
guys.
mean, they're shooting
Think
out the
about how
knees
much-
in this thing. They know the weak points.
Yeah.
Think about
I
how
don't
much one of
understand
these
it.
things cost.
Yeah,
like to the
it's
Empire.
very. What is it? I don't understand how it helps. Like, where would you use this? Is there
mean-
a place with a lot of trees?
Snow, as it turns out.
Snow and
Oh,
trees.
because it steps into
Yeah.
the snow.
Yeah. It
So
could
that's
go.
the
It
idea.
seems like it would slip over though more.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem practical.
functional at all. I don't
but
think it's good.
the little ones, the I forget what they're called, but the little ones with 2 legs that were in Jedi in the
Right.
forest.
Oh, yeah, they
those
can run.
seem to work.
The
yeah.
ostrich.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like
but it had
that.
big moments, had small moments like sneaking into the facility with KS2O, or K2SO, sorry, and then the space battles, which I thought this with the moment was the quintessential like, oh fuck, I am in this. Was when the Hammerhead ship hit the disabled
Dope.
Star Destroyer,
I fucked with that.
and it
Yeah.
pushed it in. I was just like, yes.
But do things fall in space?
The gravity, if they weren't being, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, go.
Would if
Am I
they-
turning into that guy who
No,
like, points
resident
out all the inaccuracies?
astrophysicist here is going to.
But in the Star Wars universe, you're fucking right, I am. So it basically, once the ships don't have power to keep themselves afloat, the gravity of the planet would pull them down, and that's why it hit that shield generator.
I really
Yeah.
want Neil deGrasse Tyson to like
Now,
email us
I
in.
don't think that is the case.
Okay, let's go. Counterpoint.
I don't think. I think what happens is when you're that far out in space, you get caught up in the momentum.
But they're close to a planet, so maybe the gravity of the planet.
It could be both.
Yeah, but I think you reach a point in space where you just rotate around the planet, similar to like what a moon does.
True.
Right. So I think and that's what our satellites do. Right. The
like
satellites
in that
aren't.
movie Gravity. with the
Yeah,
satellite.
exactly. Yeah. So the satellites aren't being propelled out into space to change the effect of the gravity that Earth is pulling us back towards Earth.
Right.
Right. So neither would those
So what would really
ships.
happen is they would fall around the atmosphere of the planet and
Exactly.
circle around, and eventually maybe
here's
after
the deal.
rotation.
Maybe they do, but they were so close. Like they could be coming down like this, like in an orbital sort of pattern.
Yeah.
But they're so close to that shield generator that's what it crashed into
I don't buy
first.
it. I think
dumbest conversation.
I'm just saying,
Science!
I don't buy it. I just think what happens is if their ship, because when a spaceship goes into space, it just turns off the motor and it just spins. It just goes into an orbit and goes around. Like that's
But
why I'm not
you're
worried
forgetting
about.
this is a long time in a galaxy far, far
So
away.
it might be have different rules in this galaxy. All I'm trying to say is, like, that's how everybody's worried about like a comet hitting the Earth or whatever like that.
Sure.
I don't think it's not going to happen.
I mean, statistically, it's a long shot,
No, it's not going to happen. It's because
but it already has happened.
exactly now everything's figured out.
Wait, you're saying
the universe
the
is
rules
big?
of the universe
Not the
have
rules.
changed.
What I'm saying is like everything hit each other and then they found their circles and everybody's going in their circles. Like that was millions of years ago. Shit was banging into each other, right?
Listen.
Now everything found an orbit. We figured it out. It's like you go counterclockwise. I'm going to go clockwise. We're going around the sun. Everybody good? We're good.
Neptune's just fucking off in its own stupid
Exactly.
orbit.
We're good. Everything's fine.
The expansion of the universe as we know it, like
Yeah.
the Big Bang and everything propels out. Listen,
yeah.
I think again we should.
I
get
hope
Neil-
you're right.
We
We're
should,
good,
We should
guys.
review
This is nothing to
Cosmos
worry about. This is
immediately
nothing
after
to worry
this,
about.
and we should get Neil deGrasse Tyson.
But
to,
that
like,
ship
email
would
us.
just stay there in the middle of space. It
Is
would
it-
just rotate around the Earth or
'cause-
rotate around whatever that planet was because that is the center of
Well,
gravity.
it never actually
Because-
fell to the planet. I'm saying it in its trajectory going around, it just scraped into that shield generator and blew the thing up, and that's what took the shield
I mean, I
generator.
guess we
Listen,
could argue it
guys,
was pushed into the shield.
You guys have
generator.
already
Yes.
argued about people not having raincoats, and
Yeah.
now you're arguing about. Like,
I mean, highbrow. This is highbrow.
Micro and macro. You got to go both levels, or it just doesn't fucking
All I'm
work.
saying is nothing is keeping those ships in the sky besides
Sure.
besides their rotation. Right, because we have to think when something's in the sky, it's not sitting still, right? It's actually
In the
going
atmosphere, or above the atmosphere.
Or atmosphere. It's
Yeah.
actually going thousands of miles per hour in a direction,
Yes.
right? It gets its own orbit, so they're caught in that orbit. So if you push them off that orbit, I guess that angle would be much slower, but it wouldn't be a swan dive right into
Sure.
the thing. That's
Yes.
all I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
You know what?
Side note.
Fuck you,
all the-
Lucas. Fuck you, George Lucas. You think you're smart? Huh? You're not that smart. I can figure your shit out over here.
And also, on the Gravity Kick, the movie Gravity, not the Primordial
movie.
Force.
Yeah.
The all the debris in space now from these battles, like no one's taken off from that planet ever again. Like everyone is landlocked now.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a minefield.
So then, as the battle's going
Why
on,
doesn't the debris go towards the planet? Why is it only the big ship?
I don't know. Well, no,
That's what
eventually.
I'm saying, hey,
Hey,
guys.
and you gotta admit, like the actual idea of like barging one of these ships was like a real long. It's like the real Hail Mary of this
Sure.
fucking,
Yeah.
you know.
And I loved it. I loved it.
Barging one of these ships?
Pushing it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
And I love that, the big thing. Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah. Because it was so.
What was it called? He called it like a hammerhead.
It's a
Corvette.
hammerhead. Yeah, the
Hammerhead Corvette. Yeah. I just love Corvette. How would they
I
know
know.
about a Corvette if it was in a galaxy far, far away?
I don't know.
How do we? Maybe we
Thousands
got
of
the
years
idea
ago.
of Corvette
Oh,
because
fuck.
they like traveled through time.
To
And
let
they
us
gave it
know.
to us.
and
Yeah.
they gave it to us. That's really how this whole thing connects.
Ugh,
Guys,
God.
I think we've opened this movie
Yeah,
right.
you were
up.
just
Sorry.
you were just saying,
Fuck.
will they ever connect it? I think they just did, and you just did. So now
Well,
we're
why do
back.
the question is,
The
why do they
galaxy-
speak English?
Because English is the language of the world.
Right.
Of the galaxy.
The French and the Chinese agree with you.
There's
and
other
the
languages. There's
universe,
other languages in Star Wars.
And those yeah, but they suck.
Iban Tungan de Solo, or whatever the fuck that shit is.
That's true.
Okay.
The Cantonese right now are on your side.
Yeah, aliens don't speak anything else, huh?
Yeah.
They just speak English.
No, they have a
and-
bunch of languages in this shit.
No, what I'm saying is they
Oh.
speak English, but there's no Spanish. Like Spanish didn't make it, or like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Luna has an accent.
Within humans, there's
Sure.
no like.
That was my
language.
issue. Luna has an accent, so clearly he speaks Spanish.
Yeah, he speaks another language.
Spanish, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Space Spanish.
He had it. He was a gene.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? I did not kill your father. Prepare to die.
Oh, Montoya.
So, who was a Jew, by the way? The guy who played.
From Homeland.
Yeah, the Jew from what's his name?
Yep.
Jewish guy. What's his name? Sal. Sal Berenson
Yeah.
is fucking Montoya.
Montoya.
Diego Montoya. Did you know that, movie buffs?
Yeah.
If you did, hit us on the Only Movie Podcast. Whatever.
Email us in. Let us know you knew.
Okay, so all right, let's
let's
get
go-
back to it. Let's get back
but
to
like,
it. Sorry.
So where were you in this scene? Like, what were you
When people started dying, what were you thinking?
I'll
did
be
you think of
honest.
those last
I was into it, man. I was invested. My mouth was gaped at certain points. I thought it was pretty intense. Yeah.
Malcolm's Gate?
Yeah, I was just like, I was into it. I really liked it,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't bullshit you guys. I just thought it was really good. And again, I wasn't really invested in any of the characters' outcomes. I just was invested in the scene itself. I thought it was pretty cool. I wish there was some more like X-wing fighter
Yeah.
stuff. I thought that
They're
the
the
new
best
Star
ship.
Wars did like a cool job. Like when Isaac came back,
Yeah.
That
he did
tracking
that one.
shot. Yeah.
That was so sick.
Yeah, that was
so I was
good.
like, I was looking for a little of those. I like the Top Gun aspect
Yeah,
of these
right,
movies.
right. Yeah.
You know, I like the fighter pilot, war or whatever. But besides that, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's very impressively staged. Like it's
Yeah.
an impressive scene and it's an impressive and what
Sequence. Like it's a long fucking
yeah,
sequence.
and what I like about it as well is they do a really good job of keeping track of like who's who and who
what everyone's job is.
what everyone's job is, what their goals are. Although I was kind of confused as to like why the rebellion that were going to like retrieve the files, why they dropped them like in the forest, like with like 3 kilometers to traverse. Whereas I was like, what are they going to do there?
Well,
And then
they couldn't like they were sneaking them in.
I know they were sneaking them in, but then all of a sudden they were also like setting bombs across the entire beach.
Yeah,
And I was-
they covered a lot of ground when you have that
just-
shot
they
of
covered
all.
mad
They were
ground.
like just literally explosions all over the beach. Side note: great fucking. What the hell was the name of the goddamn planet they were on? It doesn't matter. The jungle planet.
Scarif.
Scarif. Yeah.
Scarif.
Wow.
Got
Good.
you, baby.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Wait, which Indian dish is this?
Exactly.
There's spinach in it. So Scarif. I love that it
I'm
was.
Indian. I've never had this dish.
I love that it was tropical.
Scarif, Vindaloo, and some lamb rogan
Yeah.
show should be amazing.
I just loved that it was a tropical. Like the fight there seemed
looked like
super.
Dubai. It
Yeah,
was
it was
amazing.
really
Look,
interesting.
Actually, it reminded me of Dubai, the way the beaches was laid out, and the big citadel in the middle.
So yeah, I don't know. Everything worked for me. And then so the first 20 minutes I was like, no,
What's going
there's no stakes so far. Nothing bad's happened. And then bad shit starts happening.
Popping off.
Fucking robot K I never was gonna fuck with him.
So I was-
K2SO, when he fucking drops, I was like, oh, okay.
And he was brave in the way
Yeah.
he died. I
But here's
liked
but
it,
here's the
yeah.
thing.
just side shooting while he's typing and shit.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I want to get at is that ultimately this film builds up to the death of its 2 main characters in a sort of apocalyptic, the end is coming kind of thing
Yeah.
we're going to embrace. I didn't care.
I don't
They
care
care when
about
they died
I
either.
don't care
I didn't
about
care.
them, but I
Yeah.
cared about everyone else, and that was enough for me.
Yeah,
I cared about Kay.
But nobody made it. Like, I really wanted someone to make it.
I like that no one did. I really like
You
it.
know
They
why?
all died heroically. We had that moment, the
Okay,
fucking come to God moment with non-Jedi.
Oh, yeah. I like
And he's just
that.
walking, and he's just saying, I am with the Force, and the Force is with me. And he's like walking through laser blasts to get to a switch he has to pull, and then he fucking gets gunned. I mean, they buttered him up, but I loved that
And then
happened.
his friend did the same thing. But what did his friend do?
His
it
friend
for?
just fucking rocked out
And
with that
then-
giant rifle.
And then he got shot.
Yeah.
Well, like, yeah, it was. Not, did he achieve anything? Did he help the plot move forward with
He
him
just
walking
he decided. I honestly, what I took that as is he's like, my friend's dead. This is going south. I'm just going to take out as many motherfuckers that
out? So he's
shot
like,
him as
I'm
I
going to
can.
accept the Force is real too.
Yeah.
and then he
here's the
got
thing.
killed. So it's
When,
not
you know how
real.
we were talking earlier about how that reframes our understanding of like rebellion versus an empire.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the idea that I'm getting at, that I get from the end of this film is this: the film has this heroic notion of what it means to die for your cause,
Sure,
which is something that we would associate now with suicide bombers, right?
sure.
Yeah.
So do we kind of like? Is there a weird framing of the
So
film?
you're
when we-
saying that the rebels are ISIS?
the rebels are suicide bombers in this film, and is it hard not to read it that way?
No, I think they want us to read it that way.
Right. And
That's
does
what
that-
I got from it.
And does that change your framing of it, or do you think that's confusing?
Change my framing of the movie or Suicide Bombers?
Yeah, change your framing of suicide bombers.
No.
No?
No, just because it's like in this movie they're dying for, I don't know your religious beliefs, but like in this movie they're dying for what they believe is like a just, cause that they can
right.
actually see and feel.
That's a very good point.
Right.
But one of the things is the Force, which is like half.
Only 2 of them. Only 2 of them.
But the people in there aren't dying for the Force.
No.
Right.
Right? Like all the main characters are motivated. Actually, none of the characters are motivated by the Force, right? They're motivated for,
political
some
reasons,
of
really.
are using it, but
Yeah.
it's more
Right.
political.
But then
reasons,
we
yeah.
also have that problem that we talked about earlier, which is we don't know what the empire does.
But here's the bottom line for that shit. The Empire, like, it is, at the end of the day, we're turning a movie into real life stuff, because how can you not? But if this is a movie we're going into, and the characters in the film, the only information I have is like, Empire is bad and they're oppressive.
I mean, real quick, the Empire was mining all of those crystals.
yeah, the
Yep.
cable or whatever they were
I
called.
mean,
Kyber.
the Kyber crystals,
Yeah.
right? And the Kyber crystal, I mean, the Kyber crystals could be oil.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or there could be fuel for a giant Death Star or a lightsaber.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
I'm just,
but
like,
you could
I'm-
make the argument that without them, they wouldn't have the technology to extract the Kyber crystal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm bringing back to that point that Amaryllis Fox, our foxy CIA agent, mentioned, which is that, like,
I get
everyone,
it. I
they're
get it. But if we're looking at it in the context of a film, I am told by every character in this and the actions of all the characters on screen. Yes, maybe the narrator is unreliable, and maybe the Empire, maybe there's millions of happy Empire cities somewhere doing just fine. But this movie is telling me otherwise.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is I don't think that this is the case, but do you think there's anything subversive about the way in which this particular episode, and I think it's something we saw in episode 4 as well, treats the willingness of the rebellion.
Episode 4, The New Hope?
Yeah, New Hope, because they're basically suicide bombing into the Death Star as much as they can. Like, does it treat our understanding of the rebellion and suicide bombers in a way that's slightly subversive? Because
when did that movie come out? A New Hope?
1977.
Yeah, 77.
When did suicide bombs start popping off?
I mean, like, you got kamikaze bombers in 1945.
Yeah,
right.
in World War II.
I really agree with what Schultz said, though, because it's different for me because
I'm
not arguing with you. I'm just talking about your point. The fact that it's not for a religious reason, which I find less sort of like
you're fighting for
your beliefs or your freedom that aren't
Do we not think
religiously
that that's
driven.
the case with suicide bombers?
It's more.
Well, no, they're fighting because they think that they're going to go get 72 virgins when they go to heaven. They're fighting because they actually think that Muhammad split the moon with a sword and they rode up there on a horse with fucking fire coming out of the sides of it. Like,
But
if
they
you
also
actually
believe
that kind of shit, then and you're willing to kill yourself and really do more harm to your people than anybody else, right? Like,
But
the majority of people that are affected by
suicide
bombers are Muslims, and not only Muslims in America, Muslims in countries all over the world, because then they deal with the prejudice that comes along with it. So,
right, I'm not sure that suicide bombers are thinking about the long-term effects of like their
the
political
short-term
revenue.
effects. I mean, that's the thing. You should, and I think if we're going to make that comparison, you have in this movie, right? They're thinking about the short-term and long-term effects of the alliance, and we have to assume that the Empire is doing something evil. We have to assume.
So and that's what I think is kind of missing from the film is like our understanding.
They should tell us what the Empire is doing that's so bad. I would like to know.
I bet you
We've
they
gone
will
through,
one
like,
day.
7
But what I
movies
will
now.
say, but
8
that's
movies.
also the point. This movie crams a lot of shit into it, and if we're looking at a whole structural thing, I really don't need 10 or 15 more minutes showing the Empire shitting on people because I've already known as a viewer to this
here's the
franchise that the Empire is bad in these movies.
But you know the thing is I actually do need that because then I would care. I might care about that last scene more.
But we
and I
have
think it
seen
would
them
actually
do
work for me.
evil shit. Every time they try to do something, they fucking shoot somebody, kill somebody. He kills the dude's wife right in the beginning. They blow up Alderaan in episode 4. Like, they just made a Roman death deterrent.
He kills the wife after the wife shoots him.
Yeah.
At the same time.
I think the wife shoots him first.
Oh my God! Is the Han shoots who shot?
Oh
first?
no! Okay,
Wait, does she not?
No. She shoots him, and well, no. He says he calls for them to fire. She fires, and then they fire at her.
Fair enough. Okay.
But you wanted to make a defense for the Empire at some point, like
I'm absolutely going to make a defense of the Empire just because that's what's most fun, and because I know everybody that's sitting down in an audience thinks that they're on the side of the rebels, so it'd be really fun to like flip their whole world and realize that they're actually, they're actually ISIS.
the rebels is ISIS.
The rebels are ISIS.
Okay.
And we are the Empire. So so it's maybe Dick Cheney is
Darth Vader?
Is Darth Vader,
No,
right?
he's Grand Moff Tarkin. Let's make him the old dude.
Dick Cheney's Darth Vader, and then whoever was really in charge, I guess you could say Bush or maybe some other shadow.
I would vice versa that. I think Cheney was in charge, and Bush was just sort of the
Right, but Cheney's still second in command.
Yeah, but he was whispering. He was
making all the decisions.
Yeah. Cheney could be the emperor.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, fair. But it is interesting to look at, and maybe they want us to look at that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think if we can think of another type of situation. What about like the American Revolution?
Okay. Also terrorist.
The South? Or
No, I'm talking the revolution, like when we broke away.
We broke away from England.
Oh, when we actually
terrorists?
Technically, we're terrorists.
They were getting mad because we weren't fighting in lines.
We weren't fighting lines.
We're destroying their tea.
Destroying their tea, kicking into the thing. We were like sabotaging their tanks. We were stealing their things. We were doing all the stuff that the rebels would do. Guerrilla warfare. They came in with superior technology, superior
guns,
muskets, superior outfits. That's very important.
Yeah.
We didn't have outfits.
I really like those tight pants they
had
used to wear.
snappy
and the wigs.
Red outfits.
The red coats, so they had superior outfits. What else?
They were the Empire.
They were literally an empire.
They were literally the empire.
They were English. You have the English speaking, right? Okay, what else?
And they were colonizing other parts of the world.
They were colonizing other parts of the world.
Yeah.
And then, is there anything we're missing here? And we were willing to kill ourselves in order to survive.
I think we just ripped this movie wide open, guys. I think
it could be anything. Can it be any? Is there something specific to what did they want from us? What they were taking from us? They were taking our products, and I guess they were taxing
They were
us a
taxing.
lot.
I mean, there's been a lot written about 1977 and the Vietnam War and its relationship to Star Wars and its relationship to the Vietnam War.
77 is when we got actually, ironically enough, I think it was 73 or 77 is when Kissinger signed a deal with Saudi Arabia to sell oil in U.S. dollars.
Right.
And that was because in the 70s, you have the gold standards taken away from the U.S. dollar.
That's
You have
right,
the U.S.
yeah.
dollar plummet. They have these lines for oil.
Yeah.
Nothing's going on.
Yeah,
So it's like
the whole
how do we-
OPEC crisis, oil crisis around
Right.
that period.
Well, OPEC starts after.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
To
So
manage that.
to
yeah.
manage that. So it's like, how do we maintain the value of the dollar? Okay, Saudi Arabia, we got your back. We're going to make sure nobody can fuck with you, make sure all your exports are good, none of your neighbors are going to attack you, etc. You just got to sell oil in American dollars, and all the money left over at the end buy American debt.
Right.
Debt securities.
Right.
And that stabilizes the economy. They create OPEC, this, that, the other. So 77, Hope comes out. Maybe he was, seeing the future. Maybe he saw what was going on. Or maybe he was reacting to what, France and England did in the Middle East when they just basically carved it up the same way they did
Yeah,
with
and said,
Africa.
this is yours, this is ours.
Creating
Yeah.
tribal warfare and
Yeah.
the fucked up situation we have right now.
Like in Rwanda, yeah. I mean, I think there's something interesting there, and I guess the point is like for all of that conversation we just had, ultimately, I think the film and the whole Star Wars universe for me is missing an element that I don't even need it to be politically. I don't even need it to be an allegory
I'm with you.
that makes sense. It can be anything, but it's missing the sense that makes that last scene on the beach when Diego Luna and Felicity Jones.
Why is it worth it?
Why is it worth it? I don't see
you're
it
right.
worth it. And
Here's my rebuttal.
And my problem there is ultimately when the film like rolls out to the end and we have this big thing, I don't care.
I did.
I don't
And here's why. At the end of the fucking day, this is a movie franchise about magical space ninjas.
Yeah.
Okay?
This is true.
I'm literally going, because you can dissect anything, especially sci-fi. Sci-fi is ripe to just take apart, and because it's used, there's a lot of stuff you can make analogies for the real world, because that's how we sort of frame it in our minds.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think people go to a Star Wars movie not to look at the socioeconomic fucking shit in our own world.
I don't think they should.
I know, but
I think-
you're saying, let me finish. What you're saying is you want more of that sort of realness to be put in for your personal engagement.
That's not what I'm saying.
Then what were you saying?
What I'm saying is that the film needs to set up a context for which makes me understand why the Empire is bad.
Oh, I think it does. So that's probably where you and I separate.
I'll be honest, I don't think it does.
No?
I think your whole argument is based on the fact that they blow up that planet for no reason. But we only think it's no reason because we don't know the context of starting the Empire in the first place. Why was
Well, we
the
do know the
Empire-
context because of the prequels. They literally fucking
This is
snaked their way through the Senate and the Republic, and the Emperor slowly took power, and basically he took like temporary power because it was a time of war, and then he just kept it, and then no one fucked with him, and then like he just kept taking and taking and
do
taking.
you need to know all of that?
But you just said you want to. Just because it's not effective for you doesn't mean they don't say it.
What I'm saying is, don't you need to know at least a fraction of that? Like, do you have to have watched the prequels to understand that?
If you're looking for,
So he's
you're
Putin.
looking.
So he's Putin.
Sure. Yeah. You're
just trying to see what's going on.
Yeah,
here.
You're saying you need that. I'm saying here it is where you need it.
But I don't see what he did was bad. Okay, so he consolidated power. Now he's a dictator. Now, like, when does he become Castro? So Castro was good in the beginning.
Right.
Consolidated power. Hey, everybody is going to be what I say. Da da da.
Well, he murders all the Jedi.
Initially.
In the prequels, he
But
basically goes through a long systematic plan to murder all the Jedi, which are
So that
basically
he
like
will
the
have no
space police
payback.
for good.
Yeah.
Right, because they have honor, and they help the galaxy. They whatever. Okay. He literally makes sure that they are dead, so he can do whatever he wants. Now, sure, maybe he's literally starting like farms and fucking Planned Parenthoods all over fucking space, but I seriously doubt it.
So what does he want to do that's bad?
Rule everything and keep his sort of, I guess, people in power. I guess.
Is that bad?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
For everyone else, for those people that aren't it, I think the thing is you're always going to have a counterbalance to it, no matter what. And I'm saying
So
for the
there's always going to be
context,
a rebellion.
Yeah,
Some people are
Isn't
just
there-
not going to be happy.
So the Jedi
This is not
are
Star
basically
Trek.
some like militia in fucking Michigan, like those white dudes that get like AKs on the weekends and they go hang out.
no, because
People
the
that
Jedi
occupied
have
that,
They occupy the thing in
the Jedi have honor and had institution and were respected.
That's what they think.
Yeah,
In
no, they
Michigan,
think
they
that,
think that's about
but the
themselves.
Jedi in this world, again, I have to defend it with the world's rules. that is true in this world, where those guys in fucking Michigan just think they're.
I bet you a lot of people respect the fact that those people were fighting for their rights and fighting for their
I'm
humanity.
going to come
and-
back to Amaryllis Fox, who says everyone thinks that they are the good guy
Sure.
in the conflict that they're in.
Sure.
But it's magical space ninjas, guys. It's magical
we're
space
just
ninjas.
extrapolating a little bit. all I'm trying to say is
Well,
we act like the Jedis are these like really good, sweet guys, but the Jedis have lethal. I mean, bring it to like the mutant world. They have lethal killing power at their fingertips, and we just have to assume that they're going to do a good job. If Tony Stark was around, he'd be like, lock him up. We started talking about Civil War. It's like there are casualties that can happen because of these Jedis, and we're training more Jedis. Why would we be training more people to have superpowers to murder people?
Anakin kills all them right quick.
And we know they can go bad.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's you're volatile.
Sith, yeah.
You're volatile. You want to go to the dark side half the time.
My point is this: if you can't, I know.
Jedi's got to go. Would we allow Jedis in America? Hell no, we wouldn't.
If Jedis were actually like Jedis, we fucking should.
I don't think so. I don't believe it.
I
Get them the fuck out of here.
I don't for a second.
Deport Jedis.
Yeah,
Support
I
Jedis.
think there would be a wall built, like a big wall that could like fight off fucking lightsabers.
Absolutely.
It's magical
It's-
space.
build a
ninjas.
wall.
They're a liability. Okay, they're a liability. What if the empire? Honestly, what if the empire had a good? What if they were like Singapore, just a benevolent dictatorship?
Trying
You
to
just-
like do good.
Yeah, they're gonna do good.
You're, you're both just trying to fucking get me.
I'm not. Look, I know that you're invested in this. All I'm trying to say is you've never been to Singapore. It's a lovely place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
There's some silly rules.
Yep.
You can't buy gum.
Wait, you can't give blowjobs in Singapore, right?
Yeah, you can. Oh, yes, you can.
I thought fellatio was illegal in Singapore.
No, that's a complete lie.
Oh, is it? Oh, wait,
Being
you've
gay
investigated.
is illegal out there.
Right. You can't spit gum on the ground. You can't have public rallies in Singapore as well. Right?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But like, it's really not as crazy as you think. Like, there's
It's
like
a really-
drugs are fucked up. Like, if
It's
you
really
get caught with
nice.
drugs, they can kill you. Like, it's like
but-
death sentence.
But also, Singapore is like super nice,
Oh, it's
super
beautiful.
clean.
It looks like an Apple store.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole country. And this happened in 40 years, mind you. So they went from a jungle
Yeah.
to a super. I won't say superpower, but literally the financial power of they're the Switzerland of Asia.
It looks like
in
it-
30 fucking years.
It looks
They
like
didn't
an
have
Apple
to steal
store.
all the Jews gold, like the fucking Swiss
Right.
did, in order and like build their entire economy off of drug money. Though they might do that shit, but I think they might be slightly more ethical than Switzerland.
Section 377 of the Singaporean state law says that
Wow, this took a turn.
Oral sex is only permissible if it is used as a precursor to conventional intercourse.
Oh, so it
Oh,
has
so you
to be a
can't
lead-up.
swallow.
No,
Yeah.
you can get someone going.
That's what I'm saying. You can't
You couldn't
finish.
swallow. You couldn't finish because then.
You
Yeah.
can't just be doing oral sex. You can't just be giving out blowjobs on the street.
I'm so glad the only podcast about Rogue One has really nailed this
Can
down.
I tell you what this is about? They are like mathematicians to the core. Because I spoke to people about this. I was like, "What's up with some of these rules?" They're like mathematicians to the fucking core out there, and they're like just economists to the core. So there's like no minimum wage. There's like all these rules because they just literally believe in free market. So they're, I think, thing about
In Star Wars, at the Trade Federation,
okay. So yeah, I guess they're like that.
because Lucas literally made them a fucking stereotype in the prequels. But
He did?
Remember
Yeah,
the
they were
fish?
Jewish.
The fish.
They were Jewish.
No, the Jewish. No, the Jewish. The sort of looking dude was Watto, the junker.
Right.
Oh, they got the credits. That sort of fucking thing.
Yeah,
And then the other guys, the Trade Federation, were they were almost looked like fish, but they all talked like this.
Oh, so they were Singaporean.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
dope. So basically, they were like, everything is just about what makes sense. So I think abortion is legal there because they find it has a lower price on society.
Right.
So everything that is economically feasible for society, they will do. They just strip morality from it. So it's
Right.
not whether you think it's killing a kid or not. It's what costs society less. Okay, abortion is less of a tax on society. Okay, boom. Certain things about locking people up for certain crimes. They're like, it's not worth it financially for society to lock these people up for these crimes, so let's let them go. He was going into detail about it and even said something about like gay sex or homosexuality or something, or gay marriage being illegal. And it was something about, they did some like economic
Procreation.
breakdown about family and procreation.
Yeah.
Again, so everything, it's not like we hate gay people and we have this religious background that says it. I don't even think they're religious out there. It's simply,
Well, it's a Muslim nation, right?
no.
No?
If you're talking about Malaysia, there's a lot of Malay people in Singapore
Singapore.
because right there, Malaysia is that has majority Muslim, but I don't think it's a Muslim nation.
Right.
In other words, like, I mean, I was there.
What is
Indonesia and
the-
Malaysia Muslim nation?
This is how Muslim Malaysia is.
Yeah.
I was in a bar on Friday, the Sabbath,
Yeah.
with a bunch of people drinking alcohol, singing YMCA.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens in Saudi Arabia.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like, but yes, it is
I mean, actually,
increasingly more Muslim. Yeah.
So the interesting thing about the two rules that you just said, and the way we could relate it back to the empire,
We will not
is
survive
that
this.
economics is great to an extent, but economics stripped of morality does deny people rights. So for the example of gay men and women who are suddenly like said, well, you're economically of a lower scale than us. That could be where the empire is actually like the empire
Morally wrong.
The
Yeah.
empire is a structural technologist. They build things.
Yeah.
They build these
They're a
fucking
robot.
big
They're a
starships.
machine.
All the technology we have for robots and droids comes from the empire, but
Sure.
ultimately they don't like gay sex.
Or ultimately, it's they're basically like that thing where you basically take an IQ test and it says you get 100 on it, and it's like, oh, you got 100, you got to work in a factory for the rest of your life, and you're like, I want to be a ballet dancer,
Right,
and it's
right.
like, no,
No,
under
yeah.
the empire. Now, will society function better?
Sure.
Arguably, yes.
Yes.
On a macro
large
scale.
macro scale, but on a micro scale, it hurts little Jonathan's heart
Yep.
that he has to work
can't
in a factory and
He
not be a
literally
ballet
can't
dancer.
take up tap.
He cannot take up tap, and that's all he
And little
wants to do.
Jonathan is going to become like a rebellious ballet dancer.
There it is. He is rebelling. So that's what the rebels are. Just a bunch of little tutu wearing ballet dancers.
You guys kind of came back to the way I was thinking after just talking about
We're
it.
just trying to figure out a way why the empire's bad. But if you actually think about the empire is good because they're thinking about what helps the most people in society. It's
Sure.
kind of selfish for Johnny to want an entire empire to rebel against an entire empire, have all these people die just so he can do ballet.
And I will say
the
this.
piece of shit.
I will
that
say
piece
this
of
about
dog
that.
shit Johnny
I
is.
will say this.
Fuck Johnny.
The rebellion never had a
Dance
plan.
on your own fucking time.
The rebellion never had a plan of like, yay, we take down the empire. Now what?
Now what?
Oh,
Yeah.
now everything's
Yeah, it's chaos.
lawless.
It's Iraq.
Now it's your fucking post-apocalyptic shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love my post-apocalyptic.
If
Wait.
we're talking about Chinese film, there's a movie Hero, Yang
love it.
Shimo movie.
I love it.
You've seen that movie?
No, but Singapore's not China, but yeah.
Yeah, well, close enough.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
but there's an idea.
I love hearing that from a non-white guy. That's so nice.
But like in the movie Hero, the idea is that the emperor is trying to he's killing off people because he wants to unify China, and that's why the Great Wall comes in.
Sure.
And the overall thesis of Hero is that the greater good is more important than the individual rights
Yeah.
of people. And I just wonder.
Every dictator.
I would love one of the next Star Wars movies that comes out to like try and make that argument or try to like reframe our
And
understanding.
I hope it does. And I think the fact that this movie exists outside of the episodic canon gives us more of a chance for that to happen.
Yeah.
I know, but I wish they would do it now.
Now.
instead.
I
I
hear
want
you.
it done now too, because I got to figure out why these guys are so bad. I really don't
One
understand.
day.
But I think that we might be onto something there.
Yeah.
There is something about, only caring about macro. Like with these big corporations and
I feel. Do you remember,
Well, it's
remember that
efficiency.
movie we did, The Childhood of Alita? I
Yeah.
think we've just done that to Andrew here. I think he's thinking macro now. He's thinking like when I
Yeah.
take over, when I become famous, when
Dude.
I do my thing.
I get dictators. Tell me you don't get dictators. You need, first of all, there's certain
I
parts
get
of the world.
dictators if you're a dictator.
I get dictators even if it's just like, okay, I got to kill 3 people and then everything's cool.
Right.
Just kill them. You know what I mean? I know it sounds like crazy, but it's just like, okay, those 3 people, once they're out of the way, everything's fine and society goes this way, da-da-da.
So you want to have that utilitarian approach to society. You want to
The American Revolution was remarkable. I mean, I just read books about this all the time. It's like these guys had the opportunity to consolidate all the power, just keep it for themselves, and they gave it to people who couldn't even read. People were stupid.
right.
We forget how stupid people were back in the day. Like we all can use computers and read.
I mean,
people couldn't fucking read.
People
back
are
in the
stupid
day.
now, too.
But they are 10,000 times smarter than they used to be.
Right.
No,
10,000 times more informed.
No. But I disagree with that. I think, yes and no. I think the ability to use technology and to get that information is of course the intrinsic ability is more. I think because of the convenience of it,
Yeah.
I think people just don't bother. Like, I mean, we did experience it with the election. We did all this shit. Like, people just look at a headline and be like, "That's the truth," and they don't even read the fucking article.
Sure.
Like, so that's
Yes.
where I think the cognitive reasoning about what the information they read and actually digesting it is
Right.
worse because there's so much and it's so easy.
Sure.
That's what I think.
It's
But-
more biased. The news right now is more biased.
100%.
But it's also more like you have institutionalized educational problems, which is that like over a period of time, if you say everyone is stupid and you kind of like keep them you consolidate power around them and you don't give them any authority, and little Johnny can't go to his ballet lessons, then you create an institutionalized process.
Sure. Sure.
And I wonder if Felicity Jones is just an idiot, like wandering around who didn't go to school too much, and that's why she's like trying to blow up the empire.
There it is. She has no clue. She doesn't understand how efficient it is. She can't see beyond herself. You know who's selfish? These fucking rebels.
Yeah.
Why should you be free?
Yeah. Why should you be free?
Why?
So the
why?
rebels all
Why
die.
should you be free? Like what is so? Why is your freedom so important?
The rebels all die.
Like honestly, think about it.
But
Whose
they're dead.
life is better? The stormtroopers? What is their shift? They have an 8-hour shift.
They get
right?
paid.
They have an
get
8-hour
healthcare.
shift. Paid, healthcare,
Healthcare.
food, great food.
Yeah. The
delicious food.
But now you're arguing
Kids
against.
are all taken care of.
Now you're arguing
Gender
against your point.
equality. You've never seen a male or female
we
Jedi.
No, we did.
We did.
Phasma, Captain Phasma.
Well, no, my point is like you don't know if they're male or females. They all wear the suits.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
you know. Well, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I never know. I don't know if it's a male one that dies or a female one that dies. They're actually equal. Everybody in the Empire
Most of them
is
scream like men.
equal.
Do you reckon dating if you're a stormtrooper is really difficult?
No, it's super easy because it's regimented, and they put you know what, X2946, you're going to be great with X947
Thank
because
you
they
for making those decisions
Yeah.
for me. It's like your people, arranged marriage. It works. There's 2 billion Indians. Clearly it works.
Listen, we figured a few things out here.
Yeah, it's just
We
fine.
fuck once and once for life, and that's it.
That's it. You don't need to fuck all the time. It's too much fucking.
Yeah.
Listen, the Empire's got some shit going on. Where would you honestly rather live? You would honestly think about where you want to spend the rest of your
Do you
life.
want to live on the
okay?
moons of Tatooine, or do you want to live on the Death Star?
Do any of
On
those
the moons of
plans?
Tatooine?
Yeah.
I mean, Tatooine, you'd have more opportunity to actually like climb more. You just have to be a fucking scumbag.
This is a hype of villainy, but no. But do you want to?
Tatooine, no, I got it. Tatooine, you get to own yourself and you get to be like, you know what? I'm going to rise to the fucking top because I'm a goddamn crime lord and that's what I believe in. The Empire, you're literally just sort of a sheep and maybe you climb through, but otherwise you're just sort of being complacent where on Tatooine, you're like, fuck this, I'm on the outer rim. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Sure. It's communism versus capitalism, man.
So the one thing I want to get back to is
So
we
Darth
moved to-
Vader, they get the plans. They go
You really want to
the ship.
finish
I
this
wanna-
movie.
They go up.
I just
they
wanna
play-
point out-
everyone dies. Hold on. They get to it at the end. They go up. Everyone dies. Darth Vader comes down and starts hacking away the fucking ship, which I thought was
Love it.
honestly the coolest fucking thing when he actually throws the dude into the ceiling
Love
and
it.
all that shit. And then the card gets away on Leia's ship, and then it fucking ends at the moment that New Hope begins. And I thought that was a perfect little roundup, other than the slight problem I had with CGI Leia.
I just love that we basically had a 30-minute diversion away from the movie because we didn't. Because ultimately, you know, like this is.
But no, but-
my final thought on the movie.
Movies
Okay,
should
I don't-
make us think about things.
Yes.
I think it's very important that we looked at this and we had maybe some compassion for what's going on in the Middle East and we question ourselves and try to figure stuff out. And we also maybe have some compassion for the people on the Death Star and in the Empire.
You can look at it a multitude of ways.
If you think about it, communism, I guess, makes sense when you
On paper, 100% communism. But the problem with communism is people are shitheads.
Well, no, the problem with communism, yeah. Well, yeah, people.
Consolidated
Well,
power
no.
doesn't work.
The problem with communism is not only people shitheads. Humans need to survive in order to live. Like we need to be forced to
got you.
survive. Like
Yeah.
I need to work in order to get money. If I don't get money, I'll die. Like we're wired to wake up and find food. We don't
Even-
know we have refrigerators.
Even to the point when you get older, I truly believe this. If you don't have when you
purpose.
retire, if you don't have a purpose, you will die earlier.
Sure.
Like there's no question
I
in my
guarantee
mind.
people
I
who
don't
have
think
work
this
in.
is what the problem with communism was. Like for people who were starving under communism, you know.
No,
like,
no,
I
but
don't-
what I'm saying is that
No,
the reason communism does not work is the intrinsic faults of humans.
Yeah, I don't know
if we
it's a
were
false.
machines,
I don't know
we
if
would
it's
work.
false of human. It's about like
For all droids.
yeah, of course. If we're machines, it would all work because we wouldn't have like passion and interest and that kind of stuff. But I think a lot of times it comes down to just what enables survival, right? And its purpose. And when you're in this communist society where you know you just have to, and I take out communism. If you just go to a factory job and you punch in and then fucking
Sure.
leave every single day and you know you're a cog in the machine, I bet you their life expectancy is 20 years less than somebody who has a survival based job. Meaning, and it could be someone who lives out in the fucking forest who every morning needs to wake up and find food and do that kind of stuff.
Or if you have the
Purpose
drive
to live.
for instance, if you have the drive, even if you're an artist, right, and you paint and you live to paint
Sure.
and you really truly love painting and you couldn't picture your life without it, the second you get your paints taken away or your hands go or your vision goes, you're gonna fucking die.
Absolutely.
Because there's no way you're gonna keep yourself going. So I don't think it's pure
I'm the
survival,
different-
but it's almost like it's that switch in your head that I need purpose.
Sure. It's like when grandparents die like 3 days apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this is exactly why communism failed, and there are problems with I think the idea is that the intrinsic value of human beings isn't necessarily devoted to work, and I have a real problem with this idea that
I'm not saying work, I'm saying purpose.
I think purpose is an interesting thing. But at any rate, I think the conversation that we've had about Rogue One, to me, is more interesting than the movie itself. Like the movie,
Sure.
I think it's a fun time. I honestly, like I said, I'm not going to think about this movie much more. It's not going to appear on my top 10 list.
All
It's
right.
not gonna be a movie that I'm gonna revisit.
I'll do my final thought, then we'll do Schulte to close us out.
Right.
I really liked this movie. To sort of counterpoint a little bit of what Shahir said, this is the Star Wars movie I think I will think about the most in terms of actual context of the world in association with our own world, because honestly it felt the most grounded and real. Maybe it's due to what's going on right now in the world, or maybe it's just due to a different style of filmmaker making a Star Wars movie.
Right.
So this is the one. I'm happy it exists. Not only does it work as a form of entertainment and you can shut your brain off and watch fucking spaceships crash into each other, but also the fact, and it also scratches the nostalgia button, like very respectfully in a way. The just sort of what you said, we would never have had this conversation had this movie not existed. So I mean, we would not the specific one, like we wouldn't probably be talking about with another like summer action blockbuster thing. It wouldn't sort of come up with this stuff as much. So I think there's some definite value there. And I just think that basically it's not just nostalgia in this one, which I really like. It's sprinkled in, but it's in sort of broad strokes. I feel like even though I loved The Force Awakens, it was all nostalgia because it was very similar. And now they're starting to branch off, and I really dig that. So I would say 100% go see it. Everyone on the fucking planet's going to see this movie anyway, but like I think that's my final thought. Schulte?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the movie. I thought it was entertaining. Again, I'm not like a huge Star Wars fan, so I just went in and watched the movie independently from my interest in that world. And I thought it was cool. I thought the acting was good. I liked the action sequences. It definitely made me think about some stuff. I liked the conversations that we had. I definitely, I think I see myself as
an Empire.
more of an Empire guy. You know what I mean? And not in like, how do I say it? And you know what? Maybe the Empire is this like, you know, okay, maybe the bright side or the good side. What is it? The dark or the
dark side and the light side, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe the light is this idea of like a capitalism or, you know, socialism or whatever it is, or this kind of free market. And maybe the dark side is, maybe it starts good, just like communism does. It starts good with good intentions. We're going to take care of everybody, and everybody's going to make the same, and we're going to, you know, reduce the wealth gap. And when you reduce the wealth gap, people actually won't feel better than one another, and we'll have a nice kind of cohesive society, which is what stormtroopers are. Everybody is the same, right? And then eventually it just gets a little dark, you know, it just doesn't fucking work out. And then that's what happens with Castro. That's what happens with, every dictator, really. Putin, that's what happens. Everybody who's been in power too long.
You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
There you go. So I think that's what we're
Always
seeing.
comes back to a Nolan film.
Yeah. Well, shit, guys, this has been the only podcast about the film Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and a bunch of fucking other shit.
Yeah.
Schultz, thank you so much for fucking
sure.
coming on and having this conversation with us.
Absolutely.
Where
guys.
can folks find you when you're not blowing our minds outside of sci-fi universes?
You can just go me on Twitter, so you know, Instagram, all those things. It's just my name, Andrew Schultz, but there's no T, SCHULZ.
Yep.
So Andrew
Also,
Schultz.
Brilliant Idiots.
Oh, Brilliant Idiots podcast I do with Charlemagne the God. We do that every week. It comes out on Thursdays.
I think we quoted something that you guys said when you did the Birth of a Nation episode.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I started actually referring to a tweet that Charlemagne sent out at the time. And then you guys just did this episode with Malcolm Gladwell as well.
Oh, yeah, we had Gladwell on it. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
You guys are killing it, doing live shows now.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I love it. I love the podcast world.
Nice.
And yeah, it's been great.
And then do you have a stand-up stuff coming up? I think
Yeah.
there's something in Philly, right?
Yeah, I'll be in Philly. I'll be in, I think I'm doing New Year's Eve in Albany. No, I am doing that
Nice.
in Albany. But all my dates are on theandrewschultz.com.
Nice.
You can check that out. And so some cool things are coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Shahir, what about you, buddy?
You can find me at shahirdaud.com. That's SHAHIRDAUD.com. Robot music video will come out one day soon.
I've seen it. It's great. He shot a video with fucking robots, literal droids playing music, like actual robots playing music.
Oh,
and
sick.
it's fucking sick.
Well, it'll come out. Well, thank you very much. It'll come out very soon. You can get links to my Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff.
He's
there.
also been talking about it for like a fucking year, so it's happening.
It's a long music video.
I know.
Mac, where can we find you?
You can find me at MatthewKroll.com, also Emperor MSK on Twitter, and Skeletor, the number 4 PREZ on Instagram.
You're an emperor.
Yeah.
You're part of the empire.
Yeah,
See,
Emperor.
but this is what the Emperor does. He talks through all this other shit, and you never see him coming on the other
But
side of
deep
this
down,
fucking shit.
You're a piece of shit like the rest of us.
This fully operational battle station. Anyway, way. Later, boys.
Thank you.
Peace, guys.